I'm MC Toon, and it's Tuesday night, and that means it's time for a Flat Earth debate. And Hillside will be joining me, but he just said it's not launching. That's right, a Flat Earther can't tech. I sent a Zoom link. You click on the link, and you're done. And it's not launching. He said, oh, there he is. Looks like it's... You couldn't figure it out. All right. Well, welcome, Hillside.
What's going on?
It's a debate. It's Tuesday night. What's that I do? It's what I do. Welcome. I'm glad you could make it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Let's see. You sent me an email a while ago, but first I'll let you introduce yourself. Why don't you, if you have something to say about yourself, whatever.
Yeah, I'm a carpenter from Atlanta and came across Flat Earth on YouTube. And
What was the first video you watched?
I think it was like the Black Swan that really got me. Because I mean, we can observe that, we can see that, and like the only rebuttal is refraction. So
Perfect. Yep. So done then. So you got nothing then.
Absolutely not. So what type of refraction are we talking about here? You have to get very specific whenever you make these claims.
You go right ahead. You can present your screen. Well, hold on. I need to make sure the settings in Zoom are there so that. There you go. Okay. So there you go. Now you can present your screen and you can present the analysis of the Black Swan, including all of your refraction analysis. So go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying whenever you can see beyond the geometric limits of your model, that is not refraction. Whenever you're saying things are hidden behind a curve, no, they're just hidden within the mirage of the water where the sky meets the water.
Okay, so that's your claim. So now that you've made the claim, what is your supporting evidence for the claims you've made?
We can see it.
No, just
like,
no.
I don't
You
need
claimed
to provide you with like an analysis.
Oh, absolutely,
like,
you do.
I'm not asking you for an analysis. You're pretty much just saying,
in
hey,
debate.
Look.
Let me. I don't have it.
Go ahead.
In a debate, you make a claim, then followed by the claim, you present the evidence supporting that claim. That's just how you do a debate. So this being a debate, you presented your claim that things about you should not be able to see that far on the globe. So then that's your claim. Now what follows would be the evidence supporting your claim. So go ahead. I'll let you share the screen when you're ready with your analysis. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead and I guess share it.
Yep. Whenever you're ready, I'll just switch over to showing your analysis.
I mean, the analysis is that you can see the horizon beyond the geometric limits. I mean, if anybody
that's the claim.
Can
no,
make
that's not the analysis.
Right. No.
That's the claim.
It's the claim because that's what we can see.
The claim, you have not yet provided the analysis showing exactly how far, based on the conditions, we should be able to see. So whenever you're ready, just go ahead and show the
right. Well, based off the geometric model that you're trying to present, it can't be further than like 3 miles for a 6 foot tall person. I mean, that's basic math. And we don't have to go over all the math. We all know the math.
Oh no, we do.
Whenever we go out and we see a horizon 10 miles out, and you want to say that it's refraction, but you don't want to be specific. No, I'm saying, hey, look, there's your Seattle, claim. There's a mountain that's 200 miles away.
Why do I need to provide the analysis for your claim? It's your claim, not my claim.
You're
you go ahead. You provide the analysis. Go ahead.
You and the Globers
provide the analysis. Go ahead. Provide the analysis that it could not be refraction. Go ahead. Show the refraction analysis that you did that brought you to the conclusion that that refraction could not do it. What's the mathematical modeling you did based on refraction? Go ahead, show it. Go ahead. Right.
It's not needed.
I'm waiting. It absolutely is. You've made a claim. What follows after the claim is the evidence supporting the claim. Go ahead. To you. Bring forth the evidence. Your turn.
You can see it, dude. Like, I don't care what you're demanding. You can demand anything
This
you
is
want,
how
brother.
low flat earthers have gotten. You can see it. That's all you've got. You make a claim. You refuse to support it.
So just like the curve, you can't see the geometric horizon, but it's there. I promise you.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Provide. No. Your claim. Go ahead. Your claim. Your claim.
It's called reality, dude. Just go out and look. Open your eyes, dude.
Go ahead. Your claim. You've made the claim that is beyond what we should be able to see.
We can go back and forth with this all day.
No, there is no back and forth. There's been so far one claim by you with no supporting evidence. Go ahead. Your turn. I will, as soon as you share the screen, I will put it up on screen for everybody to see your detailed analysis supporting your claim.
Oh, I thought it was already sharing.
We see nothing. Just nothing.
I press screen share.
Yep.
I don't know. I press screen share. Do you have to do something now?
Nope. As soon as you actually share the screen and pick the window that you're going to share, it'll send it over to me.
Ah, got you. But I mean, just with here, I mean, you can see it. I mean, and there's many of observations.
So you're saying that there's no refraction.
Days.
Are you saying there's no refraction?
100% there's refraction.
Oh, good. Okay. That's all. Then show your detailed analysis of refraction supporting your claim, not my claim, your claim, that it is not possible on the globe. Go ahead.
Because it goes beyond the geometric limits of your model.
Go right ahead and show.
Why is the horizon being pushed back?
Show the calculations.
You need to show it a refraction analysis telling me why it's being pushed back.
It's not my claim. It's your claim.
It is your claim that refraction is doing it. I'm telling you physically it's there. You can see it.
Your claim is that it's beyond what refraction can do. There you go. Support your claim. That's the fundamental part of debate. The fundamental part of debate. You present a claim followed by the supporting evidence for that claim. Support your claim. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I'm telling you that it's there and you're saying no. Refraction is lifting it up and that's why you're the one who's saying that's refraction. I'm saying this is the least amount of refraction.
I have so far said nothing about this. I've so far only asked you to provide your supporting evidence for this. Go ahead.
The
floor is yours.
Observations.
No, that's just
talking about?
Yet another claim.
That is reality, dude.
Yet another claim. Go ahead. Just all you need to do is, now that you've made your claim, show your supporting evidence that it's beyond what we should be able to see on the globe. Because you are the expert, apparently, on what refraction can and cannot do on the globe. Not me, because you are the one telling me that it's not possible. So go ahead, present your evidence. I'm waiting.
Like, are we going to go in circles all night?
This is not a circle. This has been linear.
And over again.
All right.
You're the one who's always had the position that,
excellent.
Well, you can't see the horizon that far back because it's being lifted up to eye level due to refraction. So where's your refraction analysis telling me that that's true and that what I'm seeing isn't actually what I'm seeing?
So you want to shift. So what you're doing is you're trying to shift the burden of proof. You've made the claim, and you want me.
The burden of proof. And
no, I've not yet.
All of you guys do.
I've not yet made.
You chase tails, and it's
Hillside. I've not yet made a claim about this. So I can't.
I've heard all of your claims about this too, and that's why I wanted to.
When did I?
Because I knew you were going to do this.
When in the last 10 minutes did I make that claim? In the last 10 minutes, when did I make that claim? Never. Okay, you're the one making the claim. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. You didn't watch because you don't know what I've done.
I've watched
on this topic because you asked me to support the evidence for you to do this analysis on your behalf. But tell you what, I will.
And you never
you
would never get specific about the type of refraction that would be caused.
Oh, I've been specific. You just haven't watched those particular ones. So
you never emailed me back with them.
So you didn't watch what I did. That's fine. I know that you're not going to do it. But all right, I'm going to share my screen to you. So that'll stop your screen share. There you go. Okay. And Now, the problem is flat earthers never can support their claims about the globe. They think they know the globe, but they don't, because they never actually analyze the globe according to our own analysis and claims about the globe. So here is, I got to set this up so people at home can see this. There we go. Now if you've heard the Black Swan, no doubt you've then heard from who talks about that, the Black Swan a lot?
Dude, like everybody does.
Quantum Eraser. What does Quantum Eraser say about Andrew Thomas Young?
Subject matter expert.
Yeah, let's listen to him.
The subject matter expert. Andrew Thomas Young, our favorite guy.
Yeah, you're wild.
Andrew Thomas Young, San Diego State University, Astronomy Department. So, Andrew Thomas Young, San Diego State University, Astronomy Department. Andrew Thomas Young, the subject matter expert.
There you go. So let's see what Andrew Thomas Young has to say about the distance to the horizon. Since QE has
section here is reality, and then all the other refraction considered simply and all this other crap is wizardry.
Oh, okay. Well, you will have
a spherical nature of the Earth.
Yeah, so you'll have a chance to respond after I do. Don't interrupt me again, because you begged me to present you the evidence, my analysis that you were too lazy to do for yourself. So shut up while I present it, because I'm doing what you would not do. Okay,
don't
got
be
it?
Triggered.
All right. Here is subject matter, Andrew Thomas Young, no refraction. Now, you agreed that it has refraction, so you don't get to claim this particular portion of it, because there is refraction. Okay? Now, the formula that you want to use is 1.23 times the square root of the eye height in feet, which is based on a particular number. It is based on the globe, the radius of the globe specifically. This number is derived from the radius of the globe. So you don't get to say you don't get to use the globe, because you already used the globe, right? When you're testing the hypothesis of the globe, you use the globe, okay? So that's what I'm going to do, because that's what we're testing. So we're going to go right up to refraction considered simply, which clearly is not the case, because the picture has drastic refraction, has that wiggly crane over on the side that definitely shows non-uniform refraction. But we can see here, simple refraction, rather than using a radius of 3963 miles, you use a different radius. That's what you do when you want to consider it simply. But the problem is
the question much.
That's how you do it. That's how you test a hypothesis. Are you so ignorant that, but you use this particular number. You use 1.25 times the eye height in feet, which includes the radius. So are you going to include the radius or not include the radius? Which one?
If we're testing the globe,
yes,
of course, and that's how
of course.
That's how
there you go. So I get to use the radius. So you don't get to say I'm begging the question, because we're testing the globe. Perfect. Thank you for that. I don't need your permission.
Refraction analysis. Well, then yes.
Of course, I'm going to put
just testing basic drop and geometric, figures and whatever.
Basic drop and geometric figures, whatever. Yes, of course. Perfect.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of refraction, go back up a slide.
Why? Because you already said there was drastic refraction. Why would we do this part?
Yeah, and you're just begging the question whenever you start adding in refraction. You're saying, well, due to the spherical nature,
you're saying that there's no refraction?
This certain way.
You're saying there's no refraction? Please be clear. Is there refraction, yes or no?
Like, I don't know why you act like you're going to trick me with this. No, of course there's refraction.
Okay, so I'm going to include the analysis of refraction. What the hell's wrong with you? Why would you say I couldn't use refraction analysis? That's the stupidest thing ever.
Whenever you just want to...
What the hell's wrong with you? I get to use refraction if there's refraction. Okay, so I'm going to do
As long as you get to beg the question of the spherical nature of your Earth, then yes, go right ahead. But it makes no difference to me.
It's not begging the question, Dingaling.
Yes, it is.
It's the hypothesis. Dummy, it's the hypothesis. I'm testing the hypothesis.
Right, exactly.
I'm testing the hypothesis. You get to use the globe when testing the hypothesis of the globe. It's not begging the question. It's exactly what you do in science. You build a model. You test the model. If it doesn't work, you throw it out. I'm going to test the model using the model, and I'm not begging the question by using the model. Got it? That's how you do science. You might not like science.
Go ahead.
You hate science. I get it because it destroys flat Earth. But I'm going to use the model.
Try to use wizardry
it's
to
not
trick
wizard.
people
Just
and say
because
that it's science.
Just because it goes over your head. Just because you hardly completed high school science and math. It doesn't make it wizardry. This is actually pretty simple math. It's not complicated. It's really not. Because here's the deal. You can handle 1.23 times the square of the
eye height. That should tell me where the geometric horizon should be.
Exactly, but you don't see geometry.
So then if you just want to say optical. Because of the spherical nature of my Earth, I get to push it here and there and everywhere.
Yes,
on
absolutely.
How much refraction
100%. That's correct. That's what I get to do when I'm testing the hypothesis of the globe.
Bro.
I get to use the globe when testing my hypothesis. So here's the problem. It's not simple refraction. It's a variable gradient. It's definitely a variable gradient. And you never did any analysis. You're demanding I do analysis, and as soon as I do it, you start saying, no, you can't do analysis on refraction. I get to do analysis on refraction. No, this was the one. This is the one you wanted to hear about.
There are numerous.
Well, then you can bring up the next one after I destroy this one, okay? Now, here's the deal. Nasty. Okay, stop talking now. I'll explain it to you, all right? Nasty complications, which perfectly describes what we're seeing with that bendy crane over on the side, right?
And I've heard you go over this like 5 times.
Oh, excellent. Then it's been explained to you 100%. And you're rejecting it because you're sea lioning, right? This math is beyond you and you don't like it, so you just reject it because you don't like it. Is that right?
Absolutely not.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so if the ray curvature
you can make that assumption if
the ray curvature exceeds the curvature everywhere below the observer, every horizontal ray in this region bends down to strike the surface at a small angle, then no ray can be tangent. I'm talking right now.
Well, then you just
shut up. Shut up while I'm talking.
Trigger, bro.
Shut up while I'm talking. Then no ray can be tangent to the Earth's surface. There is really no true horizon in the usual sense, only on top of the duct, which acts as a false horizon surface that looks like an apparent horizon to all observers. Its dip is positive for observers above the duct and negative for observers within the duct. This case is studied. There's a peer-reviewed study by Haas in 1960. Now that is the description of what's going on there. It's incredibly complex, and so the horizon is a false horizon.
That's the description of what would have to be going on in order to save
and
the
so
heliocentric model.
And so the prediction of the globe matches the observation, but I can do one better than that. Right here, what do you see there? What is this?
Some CGI, dude.
That is absolutely. It is a globe. This particular instance is a globe analysis. This is the prediction using the globe model, right? Of what we would.
Childish.
Why is it childish? This is math beyond your comprehension.
You can't use real observations, can you? All right, I got it. Go ahead, dude.
Of course, I can use real observations.
When things look like they're behind the curve of the ocean. Okay, the refraction is a lot lower. All
right.
In your this of observation.
Yeah, this particular observation is made elsewhere in that very same video that you call the Black Swan, right? Exactly.
100%.
So now,
and the refraction is either higher or lower in the
observer's
frame of height, and that will cause things to look like they're behind the curve.
Here's
but really, they're just smushed into the mirage due to perspective.
Well, so you say but that's that's your claim. So I will allow you chance to support your claim with evidence. But until then, I'll just finish because I'm supporting my claim with evidence. My claim is that the black swan, so you call, is perfectly valid on the Earth. And here is a prediction of the black swan with a particular temperature profile. Do you see that temperature profile at the right there? Or up at the top? You see that? And there is, using a globe and that particular temperature profile, a very similar image to the black swan. Got it? So this is the globe prediction for that particular refraction profile, which matches very well to the supposed black swan. So the black swan matches the globe prediction. So you have not falsified the globe at all. You've made the claim.
That didn't prove anything, Toon. Like,
all
of this presupposes
all I'm
the
doing
nature of your model.
All I'm doing is responding to your claim. Hillside, listen. I'm responding to your claim. So your answer, that doesn't prove anything, is completely wrong. It's just deflecting from I destroyed your claim. Do you understand that? You claimed that this is impossible, but I just showed how it's possible on the globe. So all I've done is I've destroyed
in your fairy tale model here, and that's
so
cool,
you've
man.
said without evidence. So if there's a problem, if there's an error in this particular model, it's on you now because you've made the claim to point out the error in it. If you can't point out the error, then it will just be dismissed because you have made a claim without evidence.
Too far, Toon, and I know you don't like
never has anyone ever seen too far, according to the actual non-straw man globe.
Infrared photography?
I have, and never has it been too far. So here we go. Now here's the challenge for you.
Because of your magical refraction.
It's not magical. It's actually just the model.
That's the only thing that validates
so
it for
here's the challenge to you, Hillside.
Bro.
Here's the challenge to you, Hillside.
And that's just not good enough.
What is the flat Earth explanation for this?
For what? For things looking like they're behind a curve?
For what I'm showing. Yep. What is the flat? Oh,
also known as the aether band.
Oh,
things get smushed into the horizon.
Oh, what causes that?
On what the temperature gradient and the temperature levels are on the surface of the water.
And what causes that?
Things will look like they're either hidden or not.
And what causes that?
Refraction makes things look like they're behind a curve.
Refraction, excellent. Refraction, you did magic with refraction. Please show your model. I'll stop my screen share.
It's called real life observations, man.
No, it's a claim so far that you've made.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to deny it and like not go out and look for yourself, well,
then
there's nothing anybody can do for you in a
Feel
debate.
free to share your analysis because I showed my analysis, Hillside. You asked for it. I showed my analysis, the prediction on the globe of the black swan, you say. Now, your turn to support your claim about refraction causing that to happen for flat Earth. Go ahead, your turn.
Well, I mean, it's been presented many a times. I mean,
go ahead,
pull it up if you want.
Go right ahead. Your analysis of how refraction causes things to be obstructed bottom up. Go ahead.
Okay, well, simply in the black swan photo, like, why can you see the horizon past platform habitat?
No, I'm sorry. That this is you're missing.
Answer the question. Don't.
I already did.
We see it?
I already did.
It's right there.
I already answered it, and you didn't like it, so you ignored it. So I'm not going to answer it again.
Yeah, you said it was refraction, right?
So here is your challenge.
Don't speed past that. I mean, that's super important. I'm asking you why we can see it. I can physically see it with my eyes. I can see all of platform habitat.
All right, I'll read it again.
The horizon behind it. Okay. It's not distorted. It's not all wavy like your crane, which is at a higher elevation.
Okay, all right. So you asked a question.
In this picture, the refraction bar, I like to call it, the aether band is set higher. It's above.
Yeah, okay.
So you can see all of the water. You can see the horizon past it, which destroys the globe.
You asked me a question a while ago that you apparently didn't hear the answer to the last time I read it. So I'll read to you the answer again so that you can hear it again. Maybe the second time you will remember it. If the ray curvature exceeds the Earth's curvature everywhere below the observer, every horizontal ray in this region bends down to strike the surface at a small angle. then no ray can be tangent to the Earth's surface. So there's really no true horizon.
Yeah, you read this like 15 times, dude.
Exactly.
This means absolutely nothing. This is all presupposing the nature of your model.
That's how you do it. That's how you test a model.
That's how you hold on to your model. That's how you test your life
a model. So you want to test.
If it's going to be true, then this has to be true.
Yes.
That's all you're saying.
Completely, absolutely, you're correct. So the prediction of the globe matches observations.
That's
how you do science. All right, let me explain to you. Let's let Feynman explain to you how to do science.
I'm going to discuss how we would look for a new law. In general, we look for a new law by the following process. First, we guess. Then we well, don't laugh. That's really true. Then we compute the consequences of the guess to see if this is right, if this law that we guessed is right, we see what it would imply. And then we compare those computation results to nature. Or we say compare to experiment or experience. Compare it directly with observation to see if it works. If it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. And that simple statement is the key to science.
All right, so here we have an observation. Explain, using your model, your hypothesis, your guess, your predictions, you're calculating the consequences, how this happens on flat Earth. Go ahead.
The day before, I could see past it. Okay, so with multiple observations, I know that the day before I could see past it, so I know the water isn't moving, so it has to be the horizon, the apparent horizon. So if I can test the temperatures and the atmosphere and everything one day versus the next, which has already been done. I thought you would have known all this, but apparently you don't want to look for some reason. It has nothing to do with the geometric horizon. It's all apparent. It's refraction. It's hiding things behind the apparent horizon.
All right, so that was a long list of claims. Can you provide this?
We can beat this horse all day.
Can you provide the analysis?
I really just brought this up because you just wanted something real quick.
Can you provide the analysis for your claims? Can you provide your
analysis? Right. You can see it, dude. Okay, so
you have
denying
nothing.
Reality, Mike.
No, what happened is you made more claims and can't support it. But I agree. You
can support it with reality, bro. Like, go get a camera. Go to the beach for a month back to back.
Yes, exactly. And it all matches the globe model. Right. Every single one of them matches the globe model.
Whenever you come home and you put it into little, what? I don't even know what is this. What? Metabunk?
Yes.
I don't even know what software you're using. Metabunk?
Metabunk.org. It is a ray tracing software to test different conditions.
Presupposes the nature. You're not proving shit, bro. I'm sorry.
What I have done is shown that the model of the globe matches observation every time. All that you need to do to disprove the globe is show where it doesn't match, but I've shown where it does match. So you have nothing. So now I have disproven flat Earth because
I made up one of these for you, and I put everything in there that would
based on actual physics.
You would support it, right?
Yeah, based on actual physics. Go right ahead. Yep.
Based on actual physics. What actual physics is this?
This is based on the refraction characteristics.
Presuppose refraction.
No, it's measured.
That would have to support your model.
It's measured refraction. You don't. The effects of refraction are known.
It's hopeful refraction. Anyway, I really wanted to talk to you about the angle of the sun, Corey pills.
Okay, so you agree then? I just want to be sure. What? Do you agree that we can measure the angle of the sun to determine the shape of the Earth that we live on?
As long as you set the correct parameters, of course.
Oh, okay.
The military does it all the time. So
the military, but the military doesn't say that the Earth is flat. So you're going to have to actually show something.
I would disagree with you.
Something.
I can prove that right now.
Go right ahead. Show the
There's
proper.
There's plenty of government documents.
I hope you bring that up. Please do bring that up. I've been waiting. Please do.
You've been waiting on it. Let me share my
Please do.
screen.
Please
You
do.
can start with NASA right here if you'd like.
Please.
Oh, you're not letting me share. It's not very nice.
Oh, I'm sharing mine. I'll turn off. Go ahead. Oh, please do. I hope you do.
Calm down. Jeez. No touch. All right, can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, this is literally from NASA. This is like the first one, but literally right here. And they're training. The Earth is flat and non-rotating.
What's the name of that document? It's a little small. Can you tell me the name of that document?
Yeah, investigation of aircraft landing and variable wind fields. Literally right there.
That would be number 8.
That's one of many.
Oh yeah. Don't worry. We'll do this one. Okay. So
go ahead.
On page 14, are you looking at page 14 there?
Here?
Yes. Yeah, jump to page 14.
I believe I'm on page 14.
That's not page 14. It has a list. It has a list. A, B, C, D, E.
I'm looking over to
F, G, H. It has a list. The very first one, A.
Page 14.
14 of the PDF. You're on page 22 of the PDF.
Okay.
All right, right there. You see A. A says, yep. It says, this is the list of assumptions when doing the analysis. A, the Earth is flat and non-rotating. B, the acceleration of gravity. Gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. The air density is constant. Is air density constant, Hillside? Is air density constant?
No.
No, it is not. How is that the case? C is definitely not true. You said that it's definitely not true. Yet. All right, well, let's move on. D, the aircraft is a rigid body. Do you agree that aircraft are all rigid bodies? Is that the case?
Of course, like, get to your point, man. All I'm getting at with this is that
I'm not done.
Is assuming a flat, non-rotating Earth.
Is the airframe?
Why would they do that?
Is the airframe of an aircraft rigid? Just answer yes or no, please.
Of course it is.
It is not. The airframe is not rigid. Aircraft are flexible. They are flexible. Aircraft flex. All right?
Okay, some of them do. Yeah, you're right.
All of them do. E, the aircraft is constrained to motion in the vertical plane. Does that means it does not move in the horizontal plane? It does not turn. Do airplanes not turn? Or do they turn?
No, they turn, of course.
Okay. F, the aircraft has a symmetry plane. That means that the mass and everything about it is the same left to right. Is that the case? Do airplanes maybe have dissymmetry from left to right, from side to side?
No, there's dissymmetry.
Excellent. Okay. The mass of the aircraft is constant. Is the mass of an aircraft constant?
Yes.
No, it uses fuel.
Oh, well, I mean, in that case, yeah.
Yes. All right. And H.
I thought you were just talking about like it in general.
Yeah, and initial flight conditions are for steady state. So here's the deal. We have a list of A through H items. You agreed that the majority of them are not true. Yet, for some reason, you think that the very first one... What, you said that air density is not constant. You agreed. You agreed.
I mean, you're kind of putting them in like trick question format. So like,
no.
The mass of an aircraft is constant. Well, is that like while it's in flight, or like we're just measuring it
while it's in flight? Yes, this is all about flight. This is all about flight.
About them.
Okay, so the point is, we have a list.
The assumption that the Earth is flat and non-rotating.
We have a list of 8 items. None of them are true. It is a list of assumptions. Okay, a list of assumptions that are used to do the calculations. This is called, in engineering, which you are not an engineer, I'm trained as an engineer. This is called idealization. Idealization is the process by which scientific models assume facts about the phenomenon being modeled that are strictly false, but made models easier to understand. That's from Wikipedia on the article about idealization. So that is a list of things that are strictly false about this particular model that they're doing. They list them because they specifically know they are the case, but they did not include in their calculations. So, are you sure you want to stick with that?
They would train under the false assumption.
That's not training. That is not a training document.
Well, then, what is the point of it? Then why would they be making false assumptions?
It's called. I'll read it again. Okay. We call it the Flurf reset, where you forget things quickly. Idealization is the process by which scientific models assume facts about the phenomenon being modeled that are strictly false, but make models easier to understand or solve. So the question, why would they do that? The answer is it makes it easier to solve. And you not being an engineer, have no background in this.
Next, dude. Okay, so I don't know where you're reading that from, dude, but that doesn't sit well with me. I don't know why.
I don't care that you don't. Right here I don't understand that. I don't care that you don't understand it. What? You have cherry picked 1 out of 8 items that you know the 7 of them are not true, but the 1 you think must be true because it suits your pre-selected conclusion. That doesn't work that way. It's just something to have a chuckle at when you do that. But let's go ahead. Do you have another one? Go ahead. Let's see what else you got.
So, no, where were you just reading that from?
Where was I reading
your definition for what's going on?
For idealization, that would be on my website.
The equations of motion.
The equations of motion. I have, again, I said on my website, I have a page where I reviewed. Yes, I read that entire document. You did not. I read the entire document.
And you're saying that all of these are false, and they're presuming that they're false. That way that they can come up with valid.
A simpler solution. It makes it easier to solve. Yes.
Okay, dude. Yeah, whatever, man. Next.
So you don't understand. I know. I get it. You don't understand flight.
You
don't understand engineering.
Understand wizardry.
All right.
I don't understand.
So I know. I know you don't understand wizardry. I have no problem believing that you don't understand this.
Whatever you make up, whatever.
So what is? Go ahead.
To make you sleep better.
What is the title of the next document you'd like me to look at?
I mean, there's tons of them, bro.
Just tell me one. Give me one.
They're from NASA. I just showed you one where they literally. There's FFA documents.
Come on, pick one.
Over a non-rotating flat.
Pick one. Pick one. Come on.
I mean, I'm showing you a lot of them.
Is it? You want to stick with derivation? Can we go with that derivation? Pick one. Come on. I've read them all.
I mean, there's one right here.
I've read them all. What's the name of that document?
Let's just pull it up.
Is it derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model?
I mean, yeah, you can see the screen, dude.
Yeah. All right. So go to page 6.
Well, this is actually.
It's a video. It's just a video.
Yeah. I would just for real quick, like I got one.
Okay. Well, I'll just do this one quick for you. This document is modeling aircraft flight, right? There's many simplifications that they do, just like in the previous one. The aircraft is assumed to be rigid. The aircraft is assumed to have a constant mass. The air is considered to be stationary. Did NASA just let know that there's no such thing as wind? No, wind exists. Yet they did not include wind in their calculations. It also includes the surface of the Earth calculated to be flat. These are all idealizations. They're things they specifically did not take into account, knowing full well that they are the case. So, what's your next one? I've read them all. All 44 of them I read.
Okay, yeah, like you're literally just saying that they're presuming shit that isn't real. So
they are actually using idealization. They are including things that they know are definitely
that the Earth is non-rotating and it's
yes,
flat.
Absolutely. So they don't need to include that.
Idea.
Okay,
but they're just gonna.
The point is,
make all their conclusions based on that. Gotcha.
The point is that none of this. Be really clear. None of this is evidence for flat Earth. So now, what evidence do you have of flat Earth? You wanted to talk about the sun measurements. How about that?
Yeah, I really just want to hear like your rebuttal for all of this, to be honest with you, because it's a lot to take in.
Well, go ahead and explain
No.
it. Go ahead.
Okay, well,
everybody can see your screen. Go ahead, explain it.
Pretty much the basis of this is the sun is too high in the sky. He divides the Earth up into 45-degree sectors, and he pretty much puts the sun in a test box. And if the sun is a certain degree within a 3-hour period, it's moving linear over a flat surface. Now, if it's 45 and below, it could be flat or curved.
Can you show the geometry for this, please?
Here. So this is pretty much how he breaks it down. And I don't see any way if all of his, I haven't tested it myself, but he's shared all of his testings and stuff like that. And you can buy the kit and do it yourself, and he tests over 45, 46 every time. And he's at high altitudes, given the globe every high altitude.
All right, well, yeah, go ahead and present the geometry for it. Go ahead. Just waiting. Just screen's yours. Present the geometry.
The geometry I just did.
No, you didn't. You didn't present anything.
Yes, it's right here on the screen. It's 45-degree sectors.
Why is that a two-dimensional thing? The Earth is three-dimensional.
What?
We're testing the globe.
The
hypothesis of the globe.
That's redundant just looking at it here. Yeah, now, when you're doing the actual test, all of this explains it right here.
I think that particular. So you've described
with the line of parallel, and you pretty much make a grid in the sky, and you test the angle of the sun, center mass.
Center mass. How do you know where the center mass? What do you mean by center mass?
Magnetic. You set the
line of magnetic. What's center mass? What's center mass?
Center mass. It's center mass, dude.
What?
I don't know how to explain that to you.
Yeah, I know, because it doesn't make any sense.
If you're aiming at something,
no
you
sense.
Aim center mass.
No, you don't aim at mass. You aim at the geometric center. It's the geometric center. Corey Kell is too stupid to even know that he should use the word geometric center instead of center mass. That's stupid. He doesn't even understand the basics of geometry.
I think he's more military. So
it doesn't matter. It's still stupid. That's not how you do it.
How is it stupid, man?
You don't do center mass. What you would do, and that's it. That's a bad approximation. You would use the upper or lower limb, maybe, and then divide it by the angular size of the sun, which doesn't change.
That's all presupposed, though.
Presupposed what?
He's literally just testing the object that's in the sky without
the angular size,
any nature of it.
No, Hillside. The angular size of the sun does not change. It's measured. It's not presupposed. It's just the output of measuring the angular size of the sun says it does not change in angular size by a drastic margin. So
he's pretty much saying if you're on a curved surface and as the sun is moving across the sky,
I was specifically asking why you're measuring center mass, which is a stupid word to use. What the hell is that? That makes no sense. No, it's the least accurate measurement. You would want to use the top or the bottom of the sun if you wanted to be more accurate, because the center of the sun has no line of demarcation. You can only estimate where it is. But the top or bottom of the sun has a line of demarcation. That would be the difference between the sun and not sun. You can get more precise with it. Then you can include an adjustment to get to the center by using the known previously measured angular size of the sun. But he doesn't know that. It's beyond him. Corey's very confused about these things. So now the geometry, go back to the geometry. I want to see that again because it looks like it would work very well for the equator on the equinox. So how does he calculate for different positions on different times of day, different times of the year?
He's got his requirements over here for like if you're inside the prime meridian or outside the prime meridian. You have to take in, like your elevation and everything into account.
Okay, and go ahead.
Like I said, I haven't done it for myself, but from the way that he explained it,
but you wanted to talk about it. But you wanted to talk about it. You don't have a clue how he did it, and you want to talk about it.
No, yes, I do.
What are you talking about? I don't have a clue.
Wait, I asked you specifically, how do you account for the change, the movement of the sun anywhere else other than the equinox on the equator? Go ahead. How do you do that for the globe?
Well, he does have it in here. Like I said, I haven't done it myself, but he explained all of his measurements. So.
I watched his video twice, I think 3 times now. And I read his website, and I could find nothing that explains why he's doing this 45-degree box thing. So go ahead and explain it, since you
east to west position. Yeah, of the line of magnetic. So you have to shoot an azimuth in the line of magnetic while setting a line of parallel. I mean, that's the only way to test it.
Why the line of?
You're just throwing darts.
Why the line of magnetic?
So, I mean, to be the most accurate. I mean,
no. What does using the line of magnetic do for you?
I mean, you're shooting straight down towards, where the sun travels.
Straight down towards where the sun travels. That doesn't explain why you want to use the line of magnetic. What does the line of magnetic do? What is that about?
It's like a parameter that you're using to measure, to take your measurement.
Okay, but why?
It's just a control for it.
Why? What is that giving you?
Accuracy.
How?
Because it's the line of magnetic.
Why?
It's a reference point.
What's it doing? Why couldn't you just draw a line on the ground somewhere and use it as a measurement for your?
Because it's not accurate for the way that the sun moves in the sky.
Oh, okay. So explain how the line of magnetic interacts with how the sun moves. What is it? Explain how the line of magnetic interacts with the position of the sun.
Like, how many times do I have to explain it?
You didn't explain it once yet. Just once is all you need to do.
100% I did.
No, you didn't. Here's what you're trying to say,
okay,
but don't understand enough. The line of magnetic is what you're talking about is due north. You're trying to get due north or due south, right? So if you're in the northern hemisphere,
that's exactly what I said, bro.
You said nothing about
control for looking at the way that the sun.
Oh, when did you say north or south?
That's your control.
You never said north or south.
Azimuth.
Azimuth is a horizontal measurement, not a vertical measurement.
Well, that's the way that you would be standing, looking, taking it, east to west.
Yeah, okay. And so when you use your line of magnetic, what's the azimuth bearing?
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay, so you came kind of unprepared. So if you're
I really just wanted to hear your rebuttal for all of this. I've never heard one.
If you're in the northern,
I'm still trying to learn
I'll explain
a lot of this
it. If you're
myself.
in the northern hemisphere, you want to be looking due south. You want to know where due south is, because that will tell you where local solar noon is. Now, the problem is the line of magnetic does not tell you due south, because there's such thing as magnetic declination, which apparently Corey Kell has never heard of. Have you ever heard of magnetic declination?
No, explain that.
You've never heard of magnetic declination, and you want to talk about this? Corey Kell never mentioned it. Magnetic declination is that...
Why do you think I wanted to come on here and talk?
Well, you should have asked Corey Kell to do a good job explaining himself. He failed. He's a complete moron. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So
explain how he is.
In Florida, the magnetic declination is about 9 degrees. That means that due south is going to be 9 degrees off of magnetic south. They won't actually match. So if you're going to use a line of magnetic, you are introducing a multiple degree margin of error depending on where you are on the globe at the time. And Corey doesn't even mention that you should take that into account because he doesn't understand it. It's over his head. He doesn't know how magnetic declination works. Now, he showed, if you scroll down to where that circle was with the 8 quadrants that he did, right there, that he divided the globe into 8 quadrants, but that only works on the day of the equinox as seen from the equator. Everywhere else, needs to have a different calculation for it. He did not take that into account. All he did was divide it into 8 and think that's all I need to do. He's wrong. The sun should not move 15 degrees every hour azimuth, which is the only thing he's measuring. It should not move 15 degrees every hour in azimuth anywhere except on the equator on the day of the equinox. Everywhere else is different, and he's assuming it should be the same. That's his error. He doesn't know the geometry.
Okay, I know he said he did like almost 80 tests. He said
it doesn't matter how many tests you did. If you start with the failed geometry, every test is invalid. You have to first start with the correct geometry. So he did not get the correct geometry. He divided it as if you were on the equinox, on the equator, and that's it. And then he had this more than 45, like said, less than 45 thing. Makes no sense.
No. And in his calculations, you account for not being on the equinox, not being within the prime meridian.
What's the formula he used?
I don't know. It's in here, Mike.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yes, it is.
I read it. He doesn't know the geometry. He did not apply geometry. He just has more than 45 and less than 45. That's all he has. That's all he did. I don't know what he did, but he's...
take what you're saying, because I can't really look it all up right now and rebut it all. But I just need to take what you're saying and just...
You should have looked what he did and thought about it. You got fooled. You got fooled by a charlatan.
I'm not too sure.
You absolutely did.
No, because I mean, it comes down to the sun is too high in the sky for too long. I mean,
so he says, but did not do the geometry.
Just watch the sun move away over like a dry desert. It gets smaller and it'll get
no, it doesn't,
and disappear.
Put a solar filter on it. It never does.
Okay, that's because you're presuming that the nature of the sun is physical. It's like a physical object.
It has nothing to do with presuming it. Has everything to do with photography that you don't know about either.
It is a ball of fire.
It has nothing to do with being a ball of fire, which it is not a ball of fire. It is not a ball of fire. No, that is not the claim.
Well, what is it then?
Nuclear fusion, not fire. Nuclear fusion. Not fire.
It's not like a burning ball of hydrogen?
It's not burning. There's no oxygen involved in the process.
Okay.
It's nuclear fusion.
In school.
I don't care that your schooling may have been crap. Has nothing to do with the reality of what actual people understand about the sun.
Actual people.
Yes. Maybe you just watched Airplane 2, the sequel, where they asked the sun, what is it? And they said it's a great big fiery ball in the center of our solar system, but that's not important right now. It's not a fire, it's nuclear fusion. Now, it does not matter one bit what the sun is made of. It doesn't matter how far away it is. What it is about is glare, which is a photographic issue, has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. It's just photography. If something is really bright, it outshines. It reaches farther. So let me show you. You see this? How big is that light? How big is that light? Do you see it?
No, I don't see it.
How big is that light?
It's like an iPhone light.
How big is
I don't know what you want. Maybe like on my screen is probably going to register a little different.
Yeah.
The screen, it's like about 1 inch.
Yeah, but is it really 1 inch?
I mean, probably not. I mean, you're showing me something through a computer.
I'm showing you something through a camera. So it gets glare. So it actually looks like the light is above my phone. Do you think that the light is actually higher than my phone?
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's called glare. So when you take a picture of the sun without proper photography, you get a picture of glare. So if you're going to show something of the sun shrinking in size, you need to properly measure it and have the right photography.
But wouldn't you still be like presupposing that
it has nope, physical? It's just about photography. That's it. It's just photography. You can take a good picture, you can take a crap picture. Right? Now, here's the problem with Corey. Because by citing him, you have agreed that we can use the position of the sun, the measured position of the sun in the sky to determine the shape of the Earth.
So it proves that whatever it is in the sky is moving linear over the surface of whatever we're standing on.
If and only if he got the geometry right. But let's do this. I'm going to show you that I measured for flat Earth, presuming flat Earth, if you will, the height of the sun. I did it in December 2019, 2 years ago. On the day of the solstice. Here's pictures. I used a tripod. I measured the height of the tripod, and I measured the length of the shadow. I marked the shadow, you can see with chalk, when the shadow was its longest, 121 inches. The height of the camera, the stick there, about 51 inches, 50 and a half inches. That gives me the angle. I plug that in. It tells me that the angle to the sun was 22.5 degrees above true level, or 22.5 degrees angular elevation. The zenith being 67.5 degrees.
But don't you have to presuppose the radius of the Earth?
I'm presupposing that the Earth is flat. I said that before. Can you repeat after me?
I'm just seeing the radius of the Earth over there. I don't know if that's involved in
I'm not sure. So say after me. I am presupposing that the Earth is flat.
I'm presupposing the Earth is flat.
There you go. So now don't say anything about globe, okay? I'm presupposing the Earth is flat. I measured the angle. That's all I did. Now I know how far I am from the Tropic of Capricorn. Because I'm in Minnesota, 45 degrees north. Because there are 60 nautical miles between every line of latitude. Every degree of latitude.
Not accounting for curvature.
Has nothing to do with curvature. It's just an absolute. Between every line of latitude, there is 60 nautical miles. The fundamentals of sailing have sat on that absolute necessity for hundreds of years. If it was wrong, then no sailor would be able to get around. 60 nautical miles for 1 degree of latitude. Which means that I am 7,619 miles from the Tropic of Capricorn, here where I am in Minnesota, giving the sun an elevation of 3,162. Actually, I think this is kilometers. Doesn't change much. Right? So I measured the height of the sun using Corey Kell's absolute necessity that we can use the position of the sun to measure things, to determine where things are. The problem is that at 31 degrees north, the same measurement was taken the same day, and the elevation of the sun on the same day was found to be drastically different. Can the sun be at two different elevations simultaneously?
I mean, no, not theoretically.
No, it cannot. So that falsifies the idea that the Earth could be flat right there.
Right, but I mean, there's a lot of different opinions about like the sun and the things in the sky, how they're relative to each person. And
well, those are claims without evidence.
See them in a different. I know. Well, I'm just saying we all see it in a position relative to our own.
Okay, but that destroys. Okay, so you don't agree with Corey Kell that you can use the position of the sun to determine the shape of the Earth that we're on, because it's all whatever, nothing matters. You can't have it both ways. Either you agree with Corey Kell that you can hold on. You can either use the position of the sun to determine things about the shape of the Earth, or you cannot, because it's all relative to the observer. Which one are you going to go with?
Not me.
you can, but I'm asking you, whenever you took these two different measurements here, and you got the different
you're deflecting from this. You're deflecting from this problem here.
I
want to know whether or not you agree, because this conversation, I won't do this conversation if you don't agree to the premise that Corey Kell agrees to. Okay, I'll go somewhere else on this.
Obviously, I said that. I said yes.
Okay.
I do believe.
Excellent.
But let me finish this. I'm asking you about the two measurements that we're taking here that got different elevations of the sun. So, like, were they taken using the same instruments in the same location?
They were not in the same location. One was in Minneapolis. No, it's not. That is exactly not a problem. One was in Minneapolis at 45 degrees north. One was in Israel at 31.35 degrees north.
So, like, the topography and none of that mattered when they were doing
the elevation change is very slight. It does change a very small amount, but not. It does. No. Well, you go ahead and show the geometry that it really does. But if you're not going to show that, then I'm going to dismiss your claims. The problem is that it won't solve this problem for you. That the difference is dramatic. From 3,162 to 4,468, a significant difference in the elevation of the sun. It can't be that
a significant difference in topography and a whole lot of other variables, but that's neither here nor there. But I think really this debate comes down to, like, we can see too far, and I don't know how anybody can deny.
Oh, you want to change the topic now? You wanted to talk about the position of the sun in the sky. But you couldn't talk.
I just wanted to hear your rebuttal on it. That way I can reflect on it and kind of compare and contrast. Because, like I said, I'm still learning it. But the big takeaway that I got from his work was that the sun is too high in the sky for too long, and it just makes sense to me. I've seen a lot of AutoCAD renderings and a lot of guys kind of messing with it, and it doesn't make any sense.
The problem is that no flat earther understands geometry. And Corey Kell is the king of not understanding geometry. So his ideas about how to do it aren't correct. There are geometric calculators that presume the Earth to be a globe, which is what you must do in order to test the globe, and will tell you for any location on any day the predicted position of the sun at any time. Corey could have used that because it's based on the correct math, but he did not. He instead, in his ignorance of geometry, tried to apply some sort of geometry to it, but it was all wrong. And every flat earther that talks about, Corey Kell, blah, blah, none of them ever have been able to answer the basic question. Please tell me the geometry he used. I ask on Facebook when they post it. They're like, you didn't watch it. I did watch it. Please tell me in your own words, did geometry he used? Well, just go watch it. I did watch it. He didn't explain it.
What do you mean, like the type of geometry? Is that what you're asking?
No, the actual geometry. Go do the geometry that for the globe that predicts the position of the sun at any particular time and see if it matches. And he didn't do that. He divided it into 8 and got all the math sloppy. And talked, and the only thing that he went into detail about was his 8-step process to measure the angle to the sun. All you really need is to install the Theodolite app on your phone and do that, and it'll tell you the angle. It's really simple. It's not hard to do. You can use a stick and shadow and get the angle to the sun as well. That's also not difficult. But he couldn't figure that out. Instead, he took his angelometer, right? What did he call it? What is this?
Was it like the Mark's device or something? No, something else. It's protractor.
Protractor, that's right.
Digital protractor.
He used, and I have right here a digital protractor. He put his digital protractor on a tripod flat like piece of cardboard or something, and he sighted down the line of that to try to get. He could have just put the Theodolite app on his phone and said, oh, look, there it is. There's the angle. He went into detail on how to build his goofy angle measuring device when all he had to do was say install the app on your phone. That's it. That's the only thing that he went into detail about. He didn't go into detail about the geometry. He completely failed at that. He didn't understand the geometry. But now I want to show you something. Because if the sun is above the flat Earth, right? As it must be, if the Earth is flat and we can see the sun, it must be above. So here, we can just do a little bit of math. How are you at math? Can you solve a triangle?
I'm okay. I'm a carpenter, so not the best.
If I tell you the diagonal across a room and one of the walls and the angle that the diagonal is, can you tell me the size of the other wall?
I mean, yeah, you should be able to mathematically.
Absolutely.
The angle and the diagonal. Yeah, it's like squaring up a deck or something. Just 3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5. Well, you know that one. That's the what?
Hey.
It's the Pythagorean theorem. You can solve a triangle if you have three facts about a triangle. You have 3 sides, 3 angles, right? If you have any 3 with 2 exceptions, you can solve the rest. Angle does not tell you the lengths of the sides, so you need more than just 3 angles. And angle side leaves 2 possibilities, one acute, one obtuse. But if you know a little more, then you can solve for angle side. Do you remember hearing about that in school? Yes. Side angle side, angle side angle, angle side, those things, right? You can solve a triangle given those 3 pieces of information. So that's what I did. If we take the common claim about the sun being 3,000 feet, 3,000 miles above the Earth, which comports with the one measurement I made about, doesn't match other positions, but it doesn't matter how high it is. We can apply the math to any one of them. So I'm in Minneapolis. So on the northern solstice, that would be in June in Minneapolis. The sun travels around the Tropic of Cancer at 23.5 degrees north latitude, right? That's where the sun goes. You see that in that picture there?
No, yeah, I see it.
There it is. Now, in Minneapolis, where I am at that 0, you can see over there where it says 13, the sun in the middle of the night in Minnesota is going to be above Myanmar. So 12 hours off of midday, the sun is going to be directly above Myanmar. And that's definitely the case. The people in Myanmar, you could ask them if 12 hours from Minneapolis, if it's the case there, they're going to say yes. Now we can do that little bit of math to predict the elevation of the sun in the middle of the night on that day. We solve that triangle, and according to that simple calculation, the sun should be 21.35 degrees above true level. True level being 90 degrees zenith. Or you could say 21.35 degrees angular elevation. That's how high it should be. But I've been outside in the middle of the night on the day of the solstice.
Right, I don't
the
see
sun
how
was
that,
down. The sun was down.
Right, I could see how you could be measuring the angles like that, but how is that saying that the Earth that we're on is curved?
That is saying the Earth cannot be flat.
I mean, by doing it.
Because the sun set. If the Earth were flat, the sun could never set due to perspective, due to geometry.
So what is converging lines in the horizon then? When things move away, they
get smaller
to the horizon. Right.
They get smaller.
So
things get that is
looking in a
in essence, perspective is a uniform reduction in angular size with increasing distance. So the distance between true level and the sun is a size that can shrink and grow depending on how far away it is from you. That's perspective. It will shrink. So when it's near you and you measure it and you find that the sun is 45 degrees above true level in the middle of the day, and knowing its distance above you that it must be if the earth is flat, you know the elevation of the sun. It's actually 3105 miles from Minneapolis to the equator. So it's 3105 is the absolute necessary elevation of the sun if the earth were flat, as measured from Minneapolis on the day of the equinox.
I would just have to disagree, because I mean the sun sets due to perspective. I mean you can do simple experiments to show that.
Show me the math.
And then celestial objects.
Show me the math.
Celestial objects that move away, they will, they'll hit the horizon
so
eventually.
You've just invented special behavior for the sun. You've
really?
said that the sun acts differently than everything else. When something gets farther away from me, it gets smaller, uniformly smaller with increasing distance. With triangulation, we can calculate
if you're throwing
that.
out like atmospheric conditions, which can magnify it.
Atmospheric conditions.
Well, then the sunset can look really big over the ocean, just like what I've learned. So.
That Rob Skiba lie just doesn't die with him, does it?
Who is Rob Skiba?
Rob Skiba is a flat earther that died of COVID while denying that COVID existed. But he said that the atmosphere magnifies things. It does not magnify things. That's not how it works. That's not how the atmosphere works. It doesn't just make things randomly look bigger. That's not how refraction works. You need a circular lens to make something look bigger. The atmosphere is a horizontal lens, not a circular lens.
But there's plenty of observations of like the sun moving over water in high humidity areas, and it looks obviously larger as it's going away.
No, it doesn't. It's glare.
Well, I mean, I've seen
glare.
Them.
You've seen glare.
I've seen the videos of the sun moving like over a desert.
You've seen glare.
Almost
none of them had a solar filter. You've seen glare. That's what you saw.
So you're saying the glare changes throughout its travel?
Yes. Glare makes the sun appear bigger. That's what, when you don't control for it, that's what glare does. And flat earthers use glare to lie and deceive to other people. And you were the victim of this deceit.
I don't know. It just seems like reality, man. But like whenever
it just seems like reality, man, is not science.
It is. I mean,
no, it's not. That's not how it works. So I'll show you.
If I can see a mountain range 200 miles away and there's no curvature, I mean, that tells me the Earth is flat.
But you've never seen an actual analysis of that. But here we go. Here is.
No, I've heard Globers say, "Yo,
right
it's
here.
Refraction. It's being lifted up to high level."
Here is the sun.
That just doesn't sit well with me and many others.
I don't care that it doesn't sit well with you or not.
All
it does is show that you're wrong. So here is the size of the sun through a solar filter. This particular one was taken by Felipe Rockholt, a flat earther who lives in Los Angeles. This is the sunrise. You see that? He used a solar filter. Now, this is the same camera in the next scene at the same zoom level. So that's sunrise. And here comes midday. There's midday. Same size. It did not change in size. When you use a solar filter, the size of the sun does not change. When you properly do.
So does this happen with the moon as well? Because I've seen videos of the moon moving away.
The moon's angular size.
Yes.
The moon's angular size changes a bit because it's closer, but it doesn't change by much. So there it is. There's sunset. Did not change.
Yeah, I mean, this video isn't doing anything for me, man.
I don't care that it's not.
It's like super up close. It's not like the same.
It's zoomed in.
distances that I've seen the sun travel in the other videos. So.
This is a solar filter. So here it is, the sun being tracked. So you see like changes as things go in front of the sun, some clouds there. But this is the sun being tracked using an equatorial mount on with a camera on the equatorial mount. And a solar filter. Look at that. And the sun sets at full size. There's another one. Sun setting at full size. It's the same size midday as sunset. Every day. And here is Red's Rhetoric, who took a picture every hour from sunrise to sunset from his driveway. All of them the same size. The camera is at the exact same zoom level. In fact, this is a P900, the flat earther camera of choice. And there it is.
Right, I'm saying like the videos that I saw, they were from like pretty high altitudes, almost parallel with, like the top of the topography around. So I don't know. Those seem like they're from really low angles, and
they're from the ground. Yes.
Right. I know they're not getting much of the sun's travel, but the ones that I've seen are like super long distances that the sun and the moon are traveling, and they're getting significantly smaller. So.
Without a solar filter. Every time, without a solar filter. Get one with a solar filter, and then come back to me. You didn't watch them with a solar filter. You watched flat earthers that cherry picked.
All the ones that I've seen I've seen the solar filter like the one you showed.
They cherry picked deceitful videos to lie to you, and you were the victim. No, I showed you ones that controlled for glare. You have ones that intentionally did not control for glare to intentionally deceive you into thinking that the sun is changing in size when it's not. That's what happened. You got fooled.
I got fooled.
Exactly.
So, man.
So Alyssum is wondering, he's an Australian and he's a pilot. He says, why do I have to use the globe to calculate my flight distances? Why do I have to use the globe geometry to do so? Why is there no flat Earth alternative?
What globe calculations is he having to do to navigate?
When he gets the distance between where he's starting and where he's ending, he needs to know how long that distance is so that he can make sure he has the correct amount of fuel in the plane so that he doesn't crash. Why does he have to use the Haversine formula instead of the polar distance formula?
No, I'm not a pilot. But...
You don't have to be a pilot to answer this.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I've never had to study that. So.
Okay. Well, here's a problem. There is no flat Earth explanation for calculating the distances between points on the Earth that works. That's a problem for flat Earth.
I don't know. I've just seen a lot of the emergency landings and stuff like that. And
they're all wrong. Effie Banjo is mentally handicapped. So...
Well, I'm just saying it's pretty convincing, man. Like,
no,
the plane's supposed to be in one place at a specific time, but they're 1,000 miles out of the way.
But that's not true.
Like on a Gleason's map, then they're right there.
Why would you? But he compared it not to a globe, but to a Mercator projection. Why didn't he actually show it on a globe? That's what happened. He's either mentally handicapped or intentionally deceiving you.
No,
because
guys,
you would need to show
you'll see it all of it. No,
I've looked up all of them
on the Mercator map.
I've looked up all of them. They're all
on globe
wrong.
models.
So show me one.
All right.
Just send it. One.
Pull one up.
Just one. And then I'll show you what it looks like on a globe. Because Effie Banjo always shows it on the wrong map. He shows it on a Mercator projection, draws a straight line on it. Not how it works.
I know I've seen a lot on DI2 or H.
Dearth. Poor Dearth is so scared.
Talk about him.
He's scared to debate me. He's deathly afraid. You know that? He's actually
really?
said it in live stream on Jaren's channel, and Jaren's the same. And Awake Souls and
you and
Ron
FTFE are the big dogs for the globe.
Yeah, they're scared of us. They mentioned both of us and how they could never debate us.
I think you just like to explain stuff away, really.
No, what I do is I use the actual globe predictions, and they work.
Well, I mean, you're presupposing the nature of our world, Nicktoon.
That's how you test it.
I know, but you're saying this. You're just tying reality to it and saying, yeah, this is happening because of my model right here. See?
That's how it works. That's how science works. You just explained how science works.
But that doesn't prove that it's actually a sphere.
Oh, but here's what science never does. You ready to hear this?
So you're just saying that it could happen on my globe model. See my model?
Let me explain this to you.
I don't know. That's what I'm taking away from all of it.
Let me just explain this to you so that you have a good understanding. Nothing in science proves. Science does not prove. That's not how science works. Okay? Science finds evidence for things and can falsify things. So we have falsified the flat Earth several times because the sun could never set. And you didn't have an explanation. You just said perspective and things shrink. You didn't actually have a model.
Because, I mean, that's true. Look, I mean,
you didn't have an explanation, a plausible mechanism
reality.
for it.
Like anybody can go, like, put your camera on the floor, or go to a Home Depot, stack 3 bricks up, drag them away on the floor. They're going to disappear from the bottom up.
No, they're not.
Like,
no, they're not.
100%.
Well, no, they're not. That doesn't happen.
Okay.
People claim it, but they never show it happening.
Mitchell from Australia, somebody put like a coin on a flat table. And
yes,
then, like,
and the camera,
you could see,
and the camera was below the surface of the table.
Then how did he get how was he able to zoom in and see the entire coin?
Yeah, because
it should have been obstructed.
Because
by the table.
when
so
you zoom, it moves the focal point. It's just camera trickery. But here's the thing: if you're standing at the surface of water, do you see the surface of water in front of you? You do. In that video, did you see the top of the table? You did not. He had to deceive you. He had to deceive you.
It's miraging.
All right, I'm ready. What was the flight path that you think was wrong?
I'm still trying to find it. It's mostly the southern flights, right? All the northern flights could be a globe or flat.
Wait, which one? Just pick one. Whenever you're ready.
Well, I would like to show it, so just give me 1 second.
Yep, you can. Which one is it going to be?
I believe it's the one from Santiago to Perth.
There's a Santiago.
Well, I know there was there was an emergency landing in like Alaska, and they were coming from the Philippines to Los Angeles or Taiwan to Los Angeles.
So make up your mind. Are you southern hemisphere or northern hemisphere? You said southern, and then you went.
I was talking about the southern flights, but then I remember we were talking about the emergency landing. So
yeah. So QF. Back to that. No flat earther has ever explained QF-27. Ever.
So if you look at the flight path from Taiwan to LA, it shows that about halfway will be over Hawaii, but there was an emergency landing in Alaska.
Oh, hold on. Let's back up there.
I couldn't make any sense of it.
Hold on. Taiwan.
What's up?
To where?
Los Angeles.
And it goes over what?
On the globe it shows like it should be going like around Hawaii.
Oh, you're gonna need to show that one.
Okay.
You're gonna need to show that one.
I have a globe right here on my desk.
No, I want to see what you're talking about.
I mean, just pull up like a globe projection, and you look at Taiwan, and then draw a straight line.
Not a globe projection. All right. I'll do that. Just
a regular globe.
like, geez, man, do you not like look into anything?
I look
you're,
into
like, demanding all this shit that's like
I look into everything, and you don't. That's the problem. I know what it.
No, I do.
I know that flight route.
I'm still looking into stuff. So
I know that one. I'll show it to you. And you're gonna deflect as soon as you see it.
I promise.
There is the flight between Taiwan and LA. I'll zoom in so you see. You said Taiwan. There's Taiwan. Right? And here's LA. Right?
See, but that's not what Flight Tracker shows in the video that I want.
Oh, that's not what. But here's the deal. You said show it on a globe. You said on a globe it goes by Hawaii. It does not. On a globe it goes closer to Anchorage than to Hawaii. You see that? There's Anchorage up there, just a little bit above it, and Hawaii's way down here.
I see that on the one that you're showing. I'm just saying the one that I've seen, it doesn't show that.
The one that you've tracker for where the reason why. And I'm telling you, the reason why is because it was on a Mercator projection. I already told you that, and you've now confirmed it. You were only looking at a Mercator projection.
So I know. So the flight tracker for the plane just lied, or
flight trackers?
Am I confused by that?
Because you're a flat earther.
Oh.
Flight trackers have.
I'm just saying, man. It's just from what I've seen.
Flight trackers typically are on a Mercator projection.
I don't see what motive people would be out here just trying to convince people that the Earth is flat. Like they're just showing.
Because Dearth makes money from it. Dearth makes money from it. Eric Dubay makes money from it.
Money, so how would they benefit from making me see that?
Did you watch their videos? Did you watch their videos?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so a couple, but so there you go. They made money from you.
For myself, so.
They
made money because I watched the video.
Yes.
Okay, so people don't make money. You don't make money from people watching your videos.
Sure,
it could go the same way, bro.
Absolutely. I make money from these videos. You were asking what's the motivation? The motivation for flat earthers is that they can make money by scamming people. Dearth makes a lot of money. He sells his app. Did you buy his app?
Or you could just say that you're out here giving the truth and that they're scamming people, or it could go back and forth either way, man.
Like, but you asked
a dead horse to beat.
You asked well. Then why did you ask the question? Why would they lie about the flat Earth? I'm answering you because they make money.
To hear your response, and it doesn't.
There you go. All right.
It doesn't hold any validity.
So now we know. All right. So now, do you have this flight ready to show me? I'll turn off my sharing as soon as you're ready.
Mostly all of this is on my app on the phone. I don't know how to share that. I'm on my computer. So.
Tell you what, while you're doing that, I'll ask you some questions. So Alyssum is wondering, he said MC Toon is dead. Long live MC Wizard. Yes, actually, let's see here. I think on my website at mctoon.net/wizard, I have a nice picture. Because Austin Whitsitt constantly calls me that. He gets confused by math. There it is.
He just wants to know how we can have pressure without a container, man.
Absolutely, that's easy. The container is gravity. It's not hard at all.
Right. The magic sauce.
It's not magic at all. It's been empirically confirmed many, many times. But Austin has a bucket of nuh-uh every time it's time to.
I mean, just because you can measure that something falls at a certain rate doesn't prove the cause of it.
Nope, that's not how it's done.
Well, then how's it done? That's all that I've ever heard.
Through typically the most common is with the torsion balance, but you can do it with several tons of mercury. That's my favorite.
I mean, a lot of that is just guessing, man. It's just
none of it is guessing.
Happening because of this.
So your claim is, again, you've made a claim, but I know that what's coming is not evidence supporting that claim. You've not actually read through any of the empirical measurements of the of the magnitude of the gravitational pull between objects and found errors in them. You're just
saying just because things can attract each other, that's because the Earth is spinning.
Not at all.
Things are going towards the center. I mean,
no, you jumped from.
It could be a number of other things, and
you jumped from measuring the magnitude of the gravitational attraction between two objects to the Earth spinning. Not directly related. So gravity exists. It's been empirically confirmed. You have no refutation of it. You've never looked into it. You can only repeat your YouTube Papa Flurfs, and you've never actually done the work on it. I did. I read all of them. mctoon.net/G has 18 different empirical confirmations of the magnitude of gravity. You go ahead and have a look and get back to me when you've actually got a refutation. Austin has never looked. He's scared. All right, I'm waiting on your stuff. You got it?
I know there's a lot of these videos, man. Emergency landing in Perth, Australia. Yeah, I mean, these just like aren't summarized really quick for me to show you. Like they're like 10-minute videos.
Yep.
But it shows like what we're shown in reality of like where we're at, and it's not accurate. So I'm just.
So you say, but I already showed you that your claim about the globe between Taiwan and LA going over Hawaii is wrong. You listened to somebody and they lied to you and you believed it and you never checked it out.
Well, I mean, after you
check
see
it out.
like
Go check it out.
of it,
yeah, just I'm asking for one.
You have to go like, wait, hold on. I think
one, just one. This is how many I'm asking for. You have given me this many right here. 0. I'm asking for this many. I've gotten this many. So.
Okay.
That's the problem. All right.
All right. So in this one, he's showing obviously this flight path here.
So this is an emergency landing that you think went the wrong way. Is that what this is? Johannesburg to Sydney? Or is this Dearth? Who's this video by? Hello? Can you hear me? Hillside, can you hear me?
Wait, are you talking, bro?
I am, bro.
Sorry, I got him talking in the video.
All right. Who is this by? Is this Dearth?
No, this is the Banjo dude.
Banjo, okay. And this is an emergency stop?
Yes, he's explaining it here.
Okay. Not hearing it. You're the only one hearing
y'all can't hear the audio of the video?
Nope. So, but what is he explaining an actual emergency stop? How come there's two points on that flight route?
Yeah, he's saying that like there was an emergency stop in Hong Kong.
Okay.
So
between where?
Why would they go all the way up here?
What was the flight number?
What I mean?
What's the flight number?
I think he showed it.
Between Johannesburg and Sydney?
Yes.
Johannesburg and Sydney flight number. Johannesburg and Sydney flight number.
It was the Emirates airline.
Yeah, what was the flight number?
I don't know if he's showing it in here, but I mean, you can look it up, right?
I can. I know that there is no Johannesburg to Sydney flight.
I mean,
That's
it's
the problem.
right here on their website.
That's not a website.
Okay.
Yeah. What is this?
I think a lot of the times the flight isn't available, but there is one.
There is no direct flight between. There's no flight between Johannesburg and Sydney. There's no direct flight that I know of.
Very well, I have to disagree with you.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of them that I've seen while I've been looking into all this. And a lot of the times there's like 5-hour differences in flights. So, but oftentimes they're canceled. So I think that's what you're talking about. It's not like they don't exist. Just a lot of the times they're not available.
Okay. So go ahead and I mean you've scrubbed through your video and you've said that you're going to show this, but
yeah, I mean this is one of many. So
you didn't show it yet though. You just said it. If it's Emirates, it cannot be direct. Emirates does not have any direct flights between Johannesburg and Sydney. Do you know why?
I mean, from everything that I've seen, they do have them, but they're just.
Oh my goodness! Just go ahead.
Canceled, so.
Oh, there. Okay. QF 63 and 64. That is not Emirates. That's the Qantas flight.
Yeah, I believe it's Qantas.
Okay. So you showed the Emirates. Okay. So which flight was it that had to stop where? Which emergency stop was it?
It was the emergency stop in, what was it? Bangkok?
I mean,
they've made them in Singapore, Bangkok.
Just one. I want one, not two, not three, not this, that. I want just the one.
I mean, just the fact that they're stopping north of the equator. I mean, they're going.
But QF
crossing the equator and then going back below the equator.
QF 63 does not do that. So, can you show where that happened?
I mean, he's showing it in this flight route.
The flight route between.
And this is on the Qantas website. So.
Yeah, the flight route between Johannesburg.
Yeah, like it says, one stop in Bangkok.
Yeah, that's not
Johannesburg to Sydney.
That's a 2-hop flight. There is a direct route, QF 63. I'll show it. I'll show you the route that it takes. You want to see it? There you go. There's the route that QF 63 takes right there. Right there. It does not go north of the equator. It goes south of the equator.
I'm just saying, whenever they made the emergency stop, they did.
Well, just show me the emergency stop information, like the headline, the newspaper article, the something saying flight QF 63 from South Africa to Sydney, from Johannesburg to Sydney, stopped in and then where it stopped. The flight QF 63. QF 63 is in the air as we speak. So, all right. Well, I bet you're not going to find it because.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wasn't prepared to pull it up right here, right now.
Would you say you weren't prepared for that?
Well, yeah, because I really came on here to talk to you about the black swan and stuff like that. Just physical observations that anyone could make, and you're simply waving it away with fractions. So.
I'm not waving it away. I'm applying.
I mean,
I'm applying the analysis.
Article proving that these planes did land where they said that they landed, and they were way out of the way. Yet
you can't come up with one. All right, the logical hillbilly is wondering,
I'll email them to you, dude. There's
okay, cool.
Lot of...
Logical Hillbilly says, I think Toon is tired tonight. He's pushing hard for a rage quit. I never want to rage quit. I was worked up from the previous stream, so sorry if I came in hot. Tim Tully says, Mike, you're in the position of someone trying to describe colors to someone blind since birth. He has no conception of science whatsoever. Did you, now in Minnesota, it is not compulsory to take science your senior year. Where you grew up, was it compulsory or to take science your senior year of high school?
No.
No? Did you take science your senior year of high school?
I don't think I did, no. But I'm not really trying to like debate.
It makes sense.
Like, yeah, I'm not trying to debate science like that. I'm just debating physical observations.
Here we have Alan H. says there was an emergency landing at Perth for QF-64. So here is QF-63 and 64. They're the same path about, because it's one's one direction, one's the other way. And now if you were in the middle here, say you're starting in over here in Johannesburg, and you're flying and you get about halfway, right? And you're like, oh no, we need to make an emergency landing. Where are you going to go? What do you think? Where are you going to go?
Sorry, I wasn't on screen. What did you ask?
If you're on this flight, you see this flight?
Yes.
Starting over here in Johannesburg, and you're flying towards Sydney, right there. See that? And halfway through, you're like, oh no, we have to make an emergency landing. Where are you going to stop?
Antarctica.
There's no air bases there big enough for a large 747.
I know, it's a joke, man.
Okay.
Doesn't look like there's anywhere. So.
Well, I would
I
go.
guess you're talking about right there on the tip. Yeah,
right there. I'd go to Perth. So that particular flight went to Perth.
Right.
Emergency landing went to Perth. Not up here. Not up here anywhere. It went to Perth. So there you go. But yeah, I'd love to see what you send to me. Chronic Avenger says, can you show exactly what's happening to the light from the bottom of the oil rig to cause it to appear to drop behind a flat surface?
I mean, it's just miraging. I mean, you can look down a hot, like, brick mason wall, that's super plumb, flat, and level, and then you can literally stand right in line with it, and you can see the miraging, and it will look like half of the wall is hidden behind a curve. I mean, to me, that's the same thing that I'm seeing on the water when it's super humid and moist out like that. So
you should
study. You get the same effect on a flat wall. So
you should study the actual.
That's just the reality that I perceive. So
yeah. You should study the actual.
So if I could see beyond, the oil rigs one day, and then the next day it's like, okay, well, I saw it yesterday, so I know it's still there. The water didn't just bulge on me.
Yep.
So absolutely. It has to be some type of
refraction does that. Absolutely.
No, refraction.
And so what you do then is you take the model, which would be either flat or spherical or maybe concave, because concave earthers exist. I don't know why. They didn't think flat earth was goofy enough.
Easy with the concave earthers.
Those guys are weird. Zenith Atlas. God, have you met that guy? I mean, he's a nice guy, but he's goofy. And the weirdest one is Sam Hancock. Have you met him? He's not right.
No.
He's not right in the head. So here's the question. Which is denser, humid air or dry air?
Denser?
Yeah, which
humid
is
air?
Wrong. Right? It's dry air is denser.
Really?
Yep. Most flat earthers don't know that. Do you know why?
Hey, no shame in my game, bro.
You don't know why. The reason why is because the molecular mass of H2O is lower than the molecular mass of either N2 or O2. And it's displacing
so it make it more dense.
Less dense for water because the molecular mass is lower. So Dax Marshall is wondering, why does Venus have phases like the moon? Any idea?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
I don't buy any of the stories for like the lights in the sky. Because like, I mean, all the images that we've been shown by like NASA and like, you know, authority figures, they don't match up with like what you see with a P900, right? I mean,
oh my gosh,
completely different.
The P900 is a terrible camera to take pictures of stars. You can get for less than the cost of a P900, you can get your own telescope and look at the stars, look at Venus, and see that NASA's not lying to you about what Venus looks like. And you can see for yourself, for less than the cost of a P900, that Venus has phases.
But you're asking me to believe that this dusty, dirty ball is
believing
bright in the sky. I mean,
there's no
100%.
believing. What Venus is not dusty, it's clouds. It's super humid. Runaway.
Like, we don't know that for sure. Like you're saying that's true because somebody told you.
Yeah, we're very certain of that. We're very certain of that. People that are not
just disagree about this stuff in the sky, man.
Yeah, people that are not
one
just
of us can go there and test it. So.
That's kindergarten. That's not the only way to figure things out. That's just kindergarten.
How's that
kindergarten?
No,
you can use
spectroscopy and all that stuff. Like,
yes,
come on, man.
Yes.
No.
There's many ways to figure things out without just going there. You can measure the distance between things in a house that you're working on without taking a tape measure to the other corner. If the floors are plywood, if the floors are plywood and it's an unfinished house, they're 4x8 sheets of plywood, you could stand on one side and you can count the sheets of plywood with your eyes.
Well, I would have to guess at what dimensions the plywood were.
4x8, right?
Well, I mean, how do you know that?
How do you know that? Because you could measure one, and then you could count the rest. And then you would have
to assume that the rest are all the same size.
Absolutely, and unless you're confronted with something contrary to it, that is a very safe assumption. So, but now the problem is that you are just throwing out. You're like, oh, we've not been there, therefore you can't use it. But you were never on any of these flights that made emergency landings. So by your logic, you can't use them.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, they're out there and I've looked into them and I've seen the news
but you can't use them. You can't use them because you weren't on those flights.
That's not
your logic.
Best argument.
That's your logic. So you can't bring up anything that you didn't do yourself anymore because that's your standard of evidence. Only if you've done it yourself can you do it. That's your standard of evidence.
My standard of evidence is what we can see. Okay, so if we can see mountain ranges beyond the geometric limits of
Venus. We can see Venus. We can see Venus.
A light in the sky.
Yes, and
how do you know how far away Venus is?
Triangulation.
How do you triangulation by presupposing what?
By measuring
radius of the Earth.
No, the radius of the Earth is measured as well. I personally measured it myself.
Oh my goodness. Okay, dude. So, like, whenever all the orbiting is going on in space, how come the sun doesn't like tug on our moon? Like
it does.
It does.
Go ahead
and how come it never breaks its perfect orbit with Earth?
It's not a perfect orbit.
The sun doesn't care. Like the sun only cares about the planets, and the planets only care about the moons.
All you've done right now is publicly
I'm legitimately asking.
So. All you've done is say that you don't understand how gravity and Kepler's laws work. That is not a disproof.
Isn't that a problem that people don't understand that? Right?
The universe has no compulsion to make sense to you. Other people understand it. You don't have to for it to be for people to understand it.
People believe.
No, they measured it.
What they're being told.
It's not belief. It's based on measurements, based on empirical data,
which is thrown into a presumed calculation.
No, you don't know how these things work, so you don't get to say that. If you're going to say this is presumed, then show the exact details and point to the spot where it was presumed.
How did they get the measurements to Venus?
Don't tell me Don't tell me where the presumption that something was presumed if you don't know exactly where it was presumed. Well, if I ask you a question
and then you respond back, well, we do know, and I'm going to ask, well, how do you know?
Yeah, no, your answer has been, we presume. That's what your answer's been.
A lot of it is
I will tell you
from what I've learned through.
So you have asserted, but cannot provide evidence for. People have bounced radar off of Venus and then counted the amount of time that it takes for the radar to come back. That tells us how far away it is.
Or they're bouncing it off the ionosphere and it's coming back. Or the firmament. I mean, it's all in what you believe you're bouncing it off of.
If it was, no, not at all. Because if it was off of the firmament, then when you point it at Venus and when you point it not at Venus, the firmament's there for both of them, right? Or did the firmament go away?
If it's a dome, then depending on where you're at, you're going to get different.
Okay,
readings,
so
right? If it's a dome, it's deeper in certain spots.
Yes, all right. So if I point it at Venus and I get a certain time back, and then I point it to the side of Venus and I don't get that bounce back, well, that tells me there's no dome. Because it did not take the same amount of time to bounce back. There's no presumption there. That's just deduction that there is no dome.
So you said the sun does tug on the moon?
Yes, the sun exerts gravity on the entire Earth-Moon system.
So how come we only see one side of it?
One side of what?
How come it doesn't ever break its perfect orbit if it's being tugged on and pushed and pulled?
Right. It's not in a perfect orbit. It's in an elliptical orbit and it's somewhat eccentric. We don't see just one side of it. We see about 59% of it. It's called libration. They can bring that up and show you what lunar libration looks like.
So is the moon in our atmosphere?
It is not. It is. There are
bits
NASA
of the... tells us...
Don't quote something that you didn't read. I read that entire thing. I'm just saying,
man. Like, it's all confusing, bro. Like,
let me make this very.
They're saying it is.
You can't stay on topic for one sentence here. Let me explain it to you. NASA did not say that the moon is inside Earth's atmosphere. NASA said, based on our measurements of a probe that's orbiting the Earth, I think it's in Lagrange point 1, they identified a particular isotope of hydrogen in a gigantic sphere around the Earth. Those particular isotopes of hydrogen are from our atmosphere, and they're that far out. The Earth is not in the atmosphere. The atmosphere is significantly closer to the Earth, but bits of the atmosphere have gotten that far out. That's a very different thing.
Okay, I was just asking. So it's not in the atmosphere. So how do we see clouds like behind the moon and the
we
sun
don't.
And stuff? Man, I've seen a dozen. I saw it like last week when we had, or a couple weeks ago when we had a full moon. Like I'm in Atlanta and like I could see clouds behind the moon.
You did not see clouds behind the moon. You saw.
How are you gonna sit here and tell me I did?
You saw thick and thin clouds. Some of them, the moon shone through because they're thin, and some of them the moon did not shine through because
so you're
they're
saying
thick.
Like it's the lighting playing tricks on my eyes.
Absolutely. If the moon was inside the clouds, then we could just take a helicopter there.
Well, that's assuming that it's a physical object, which I don't.
Well, we bounced radar off of it, so there's a physical object there. You can
with you on that. You're thinking that you're
it's disagree to disagree because you don't have anything other than denial. I can bring up actual measurements and output from those measurements of the moon having radar bounced off of it, but you can't stay on topic long enough for me to bring it up.
Oh yeah, I mean I get it. You're gonna shoot what is it, gamma rays off of the moon and
radar,
radio waves, right?
Radar, not gamma. Very different wavelength.
Okay, but you're assuming that it's physical. You don't know what it's.
I'm not assuming that it's physical. You bounce radar off of it. Then you determine,
right,
oh,
you're getting it back,
I
and you're getting this
bounced
reading and
radar
saying,
off of
okay,
it.
well, this is a
physical
physical object this far out, and it's taken this long to get back.
Absolutely, there's no presumption in that. So here is the topic a few topics ago: lunar libration. This is what we see over time of the moon. You see, it's growing and shrinking because its distance from us increases and decreases. So perspective makes it get bigger and smaller. And you can see it wobbling back and forth, and you can see it slightly turning. So we can see more than half of it.
So why isn't there like a hot spot?
Because it's not glossy. But there are parts that are brighter and dimmer. So I'll show you.
Right. So if I can walk out in my backyard and read
top
by
right.
the moonlight. I know, but
top right there's the hot spot. You asked for a hot spot. There's the hot spot, top right. See it?
Well, this isn't like a digital freaking rendering of it. So
yeah.
I'm just talking about whenever I'm looking at it outside, right?
Hot spot on left.
Not
See
any
that?
of this stuff on the computer.
Hot spot on left.
Talking about real life. So how many lumens do you think like the moon is pushing like out in a dark forest?
I don't know.
You could read by it, right?
I don't know. I don't have the lumen count.
Did you say like 10 lumens or whatever? So like if
I would not
landed on the moon,
I would not venture any guess for how many lumens.
Okay, well it's bright enough to read by.
Sure.
So okay, so it's pretty bright for a light source that's that far away. So the closer we get to it, should it get brighter or dimmer or what?
Oh my gosh. Do you think that landing on it, you think that if we land on it, that you should be blinded by it? No, that's not how it works.
Bro, in my reality, the closer you get to a source, the brighter it gets.
But you think it's in the clouds. You think the moon is in the clouds.
Object, though.
We can bounce radar off of it. How can we bounce radar off of it if it's not physical?
How can we land on something that's that bright, that far away?
Oh my gosh.
By the time you got to the moon,
no, that's not how it works.
Super bright.
You're not getting, when you're, oh my gosh. How can you be so bad about this? This is like,
to me, it sounds like a legitimate
I want to get an elementary school kid to explain this to you. You're not, when you're on the moon, you're not seeing all of the light from the moon at the same time. You only see the light from near you. Oh, it's just. All right.
How is that not a legitimate question? Just because you don't like it, I mean, you get closer to the moon, it should be brighter. And apparently, these people walked on it, and they were able to take pictures on it. But it's that bright in my backyard.
That's not. It's just because the reason why it's frustrating is because
it's
elementary
so
school.
Just explain it.
Elementary school kids can figure it out.
Well, explain it to me if it's so easy an elementary school kid could figure it out.
The logical hillbilly says that just in case he didn't run away. Says, I have to say I've had acne smarter than this guy.
Chill out.
All right, the logical hillbilly, chill out. Wait a second. Why was that? Gowdens, why was that deleted? There was a message deleted. Eddie Reese was blocked. Somebody in the chat was blocked, and he had just done a super chat. I don't know. Send it. Eddie Reese, tag me. I'll try to read that. Wait, do I have it? I might have it. I have it. Okay. I captured it anyway. I'm using if this, then that.
Okay, and I found all the emergency planes, the book and everything with all the landings and stuff.
Sure. So Monkey Cat Pat Pat's wondering why he can't see the Southern Cross from Michigan.
I mean, from everything that I've learned, it's all perspective. Like everything converges in the horizon.
That's not perspective. Things. Perspective is uniform reduction in angular size. No.
Okay, well,
perspective is things get smaller as they get farther away. That's it. That's perspective. So if the Earth were flat,
the Southern Cross got so small because it was so far away, like you wouldn't be able to see it.
But we can do the math for that. We can just do triangulation. Like I said, just simple triangulation tells us.
Well, I mean, that person was asking like why we couldn't see the Southern Cross. So
yep.
I'm just saying it's too small and too far away for you to see.
But it's not.
Like no matter how flat your surface is, like things are still going to converge into a horizontal horizon, and you're not going to be able to make out what they are. The angular resolution will just be too small.
There's
right?
light sources don't have that problem. Angular resolution.
Your iPhone light that you were holding up a while ago, you could take it 10 miles away and I'd still be able to see it on a flat plane. Like theoretically, is that what you're saying?
Yes, you'd still receive photons from it. So angular resolution. Let me explain this. Angular resolution does not make things disappear. It makes the details unresolvable, but you can still see them.
So if they're so unresolvable, like
you can still see them, that you just don't see detail. So say you had a window. Sounds, right? I don't care that you don't understand it. Every time you say wizardry, that's just you saying I don't understand these things. I don't care. Your inability to grasp.
Saying it's so far away that you can't make out the details, but it's still there. You just can't see it.
It's still there, and you can see it. But you just can't make out the details of it. So here. Your inability to grasp science is not a valid argument against it. So I'll explain it to you. Say you had a window and it had a plant in it. So the plant is in the bottom, right? And the rest of the window is showing into the room. It's white. And if you're close, you'd see the white and you'd see the green of the plant. As you got farther away, when the angular resolution was so small, that was beyond your ability to see angular resolution, you would not see a white part and a green part. You would see just light green. That's what angular resolution does. You would never have it disappear because it's so far away.
But if things get too far away and like the details like are obscured by distance.
Details are not
going to be able to make out what it is. It's too far away.
But you would still see a star.
Like
you would still see a light source
on a Post-it note, and I take it away from you.
But that's not what stars are.
What the words are.
Stars are light sources.
What are you talking about? It's something that you can see.
Yes, you would still see stars no matter how far away they are, provided they're bright enough.
Eyeball.
So all you would need to do then is do the actual analysis of it and show how far away something needs to be based on how bright it is to not be seen anymore. But the problem is it would fade out while still above the horizon, but it doesn't do that. It gets obstructed by the horizon. So your explanation doesn't match what we actually see. What we actually see is that things get obstructed by the horizon, which doesn't make sense at all. So Jane Doe says, speaking of things being on fire, you, sir, MC Toon, are on fire tonight. I did get lit in that last one. I got fired up. You should go watch that one. There's a guy tried to expose me, and I got his book, his 900 page book, and it's primarily plagiarism. And for some reason, according to Aries, Greg's book is suddenly.
He cite stuff off of Wikipedia.
He did, but he.
That's not plagiarizing.
Actually, it actually is plagiarizing. But he cited things in 70 pages that I reviewed so far. He had about 2 pages of original text. He cited books that were paid books for sale that he put in his and claimed were his. Did not cite it. He put in his book.
I didn't see that.
He put in his book a publication by a professor at Harvard, who is a professor of medicine at Harvard, so he's probably a doctor, put the entire publication on there, the whole thing, did not reference that the other guy wrote it. He wrote it as if he wrote it himself, this guy did. Like 6 pages of his book was just pure plagiarism with no citation. No, this guy, somebody else did it. So anyway, so Aries says Greg's book is suddenly unavailable on Amazon. So yeah, plagiarized books aren't going to last long on Amazon. Many Karen for 15 shekels says opinions on the sun, opinions hillside are like a-holes. Everyone has them, one, and most of them stink.
And we just talk about them here. Do you have a sun fade out video? I want to show you though, because
is it significantly above the horizon, at least 10 degrees above the horizon, or is it right at the edge?
Look, just
here, let me tell you. I know what it is. It's got no solar filter, and the sun shrinks in size, or the glare shrinks in size, only when it's right next to the horizon. Is that the one you're talking about?
It really doesn't shrink in size.
And has no solar filter. And has no solar filter.
And it just sinks into the atmosphere. It doesn't eclipse the horizon like it should.
It doesn't go to the horizon?
No, let me show it to you.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Because this is the first video that really got me, and I was like, oh crap. So can you see?
I can see it. It's the one I was thinking about. It's right on the horizon.
I know, but it's not eclipsing the horizon as it should. It's just moving away.
It's got no solar filter, and it's exactly what I told you.
That doesn't matter, though.
It absolutely
to me, it
matters.
Matter.
I don't care that it doesn't matter to you. Your inability to understand science is not a valid argument against it. You don't understand science, therefore it's flat.
It should still eclipse
awesome.
The horizon, Mike.
Oh my gosh. Earth is Life says, check the picture of the sun taken by me in Hawaii. I sent you in an email. All right. You want to see this one by Earth is Life? He emailed it to me. He used to go by something else. What did you used to go by, Earth is Life? I think he likes... Oh, he sent me two. Oh, look at that. All right. I got to throw that into the thing here. Wrong folder.
Yeah, so if you were to have a solar filter on that, you would be able to see it all the way until it just moved, far enough away to where it would.
No, it would not change in angular size, and it would get obstructed bottom up by the horizon. That's what happens every time that there's a solar filter. It's the same.
Because it's moving further away, and as things move further away,
go
to the Bellagio Hotel. Just think of like art class and perspective. I mean, you move.
This isn't art; it's physics. When things move away, they get smaller. That's the key. It's not getting smaller. Perspective is things getting smaller as they get farther away. All right, here you go. Here is from Earth is Life. That doesn't match flat Earth. How does that happen on flat Earth?
Like, from what I've learned, that's like there's a mirage effect happening over the horizon.
How?
Right? And
How?
Things are being like the sun is.
What's the refraction properties that causes that?
Okay, just hold on real quick. Okay, so as the sun moves away, like you can just hold your hand up to your face and move something away behind it, and it will eclipse from the bottom up. So as the sun moves further and further away on the horizon, there's a deck of thick atmosphere, right? We just can't see it, but it is there. It all compresses into the horizon. So that's all that's happening there. Is the sun's further away, so it's being eclipsed from the bottom up, and it's being magnified a little bit due to the humidity over the water.
Things don't get magnified by humidity. Humidity reduces refraction, not increases refraction. And we covered that already. Because the molecular mass of water is less than the molecular mass.
Like the atmosphere does magnify things.
No, it doesn't. You're going to need to show evidence for that claim. That's how a debate works. You make a claim, then you show evidence for it.
So things aren't magnified slightly in mirages?
No. The atmosphere is a horizontally stacked lens, not a circular lens. You need a circular lens to make things be magnified. So there you go. Here is the sun setting, getting obstructed, bottom up, not shrinking down to the point.
Falling over 1,000 miles an hour backwards, or 15 degrees
Good job. Good job doing your little mantras there. Your flat Earth mantras. All right, thank you for that. Earth is life. I've never seen such behavior in the warm room before. That's a catchy name, isn't it? It says for $5. It says MC Toon, you're awesome. Grow a stash and you could join Oakley Dokley, metal band that all dress as Ned Flanders. That's funny. I gotta hear that band. Have you heard of Oakley Dokley?
No.
No? All right. Earth is Life says QF-14 flew from Aziza, Argentina to Darwin, Australia in 18 hours. What's the distance between these two cities on flat Earth?
I have no idea. So I have a video here of like the sun setting in the clouds. So I don't know, like this is just stuff I see in every day. And like here's a video I can show you.
It needs to set significantly above the horizon every single day, not just once. Just
no,
so you
I'm
know.
just saying
But
this
go right ahead and
video.
show the outlier. Let's see it.
The outlier. Like, how do you explain this?
That's
like that's not 93 million miles away.
Yes, it is. It's not setting. It's not inside the clouds. If it was inside the clouds, it would make them all evaporate.
Well, I mean, it looks like it's. Well, I mean, you're presupposing what the sun is. So.
It's hot. We know it's hot. Do you doubt that the sun is? You don't need to go to the sun to know it's hot.
Well, I mean,
that's stupid. It's hot. Go outside in the summer. It's hot.
Electricity off, and it's exciting.
It's not throwing electricity. It's not throwing electricity off. What the hell are you talking about? It's not a theory.
You can't prove what you're saying, and I can't prove what I'm saying. But I'm just saying.
But
the
proving
sun does not look 93 million miles away.
Proof is pseudoscience. So you're asking me to do pseudoscience? No, not interested.
So how are you explaining away the clouds behind the sun?
There are no clouds behind the sun. Put a solar filter on that. You will see the clouds in front of the sun. No solar filter. Flat earthers hate solar filters. They never use solar filters.
I don't hate solar filters.
Because solar filters never show the sun doing what flat earthers must have it do.
Because a solar filter is gonna cancel out the atmosphere in the clouds, right?
No, it's going to remove the excessive light so you don't see glare.
Right, and you're just gonna see the outline of pretty much whatever it is, and you're not gonna be able to see the reality of what's going on.
No, you will then see the reality of what's going on instead of the glare.
I disagree.
Your inability to understand photography doesn't make you right. You should study photography. There's a book.
You're saying there aren't clouds behind this.
There are no clouds behind it. If there are clouds behind it, then you could take a helicopter to the sun. If there are clouds behind it,
that it's a physical object.
It is a physical object. We bounced radar off of it. I'm not presupposing it. There's no presumption of anything. It's been measured. People bounced radar off of it. You don't bounce radar off of nothing. If you bounce radar off of it, there's something there.
That doesn't mean that it has to be physical, though.
Yes, it does. Explain what bounces radar other than physical things. Go ahead.
I mean, radar could bounce off of like a plasma material.
Plasma is physical.
Well, I'm just saying it's not like an object. That's like
plasma is an object.
I don't know, man. I'm just showing you this. It looks like it's rising right up through the clouds, and you're just saying
if the sun were in the clouds, what would that tell us? That would tell us that if you are wherever this was at, it could only be a few miles above the ground. So then the other parts of the earth where the sun is still being seen could not be seen there.
I mean, it really all comes down to you tell people not to trust their eyes.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, don't trust your eyes. 100% don't trust your eyes.
Problem, bro.
100% you should not trust your eyes. Do you know why? Because your eyes are easily fooled. Do you not know that? Super easily fooled. Your eyes are worthless at figuring things out like that. Do you just trust your eyes when you do carpentry? No.
100%. Yes,
no, you
everything
don't.
that we build, it has to look good at the end. So
oh, it does, but you use
I don't go out and measure each piece to the 16th and say, okay, it's good to go.
But do you use a tape measure?
No carpenter
do you ever use a tape measure?
Absolutely.
Then
yes.
you don't trust your eyes.
Okay, whenever we're designing and stuff like that, yes, we trust our eyes for the overall look of the project. So if you're telling me not to trust my senses and my eyes, there's nothing that you can do for me because that's all I have to rely on.
All right, I'm going to show you something.
Okay.
Definitely don't trust your eyes. All right, which car is bigger?
Let me guess, they're all the same size.
They are all the same size. Don't trust your eyes.
I mean, that's easy to do trickery, but that was made by a person. So
what do you see?
The sun is literally in the sky. You don't get to control any part of it. Just you see, it is what you get.
All right, trust your eyes. How many circles do you see?
Oh God, I'm gonna throw up.
Trust your eyes. How many do you see?
2. Maybe yeah. See 2.
Yeah. How many black dots are there? Trust your eyes.
Oh, they're bouncing all over the place, dude.
How many? Yeah, trust your eyes. How many do you see?
I get what you're saying, but whenever it comes to depth and perception like that with the sun, like
don't trust your eyes.
It looks like it's setting in the clouds, man.
Don't trust your eyes. Your eyes
we
can
play
be fooled
games like this all night long. Dude,
yeah, your eyes can be fooled all night long. Are those parallel?
Okay, but the sun in the sky is a trickery game.
Are those parallel?
It's reality.
Are those parallel?
This isn't reality.
Here's reality. Tell me about that floor. That's reality.
I've worked in a house like that before. Yeah,
Tell me about that floor.
It's just an optical illusion.
Oh, it's just an optical illusion. Okay, good. So you don't trust your senses. Got it. You should not. You should not trust your senses. Because your senses can be fooled.
Is that all you have to like refute that? Is just a bunch of these little...
Yes, absolutely. You cannot trust your senses. It doesn't work.
That's all I have.
All you have is trust your senses. You don't have measurements. You don't have science. You don't have quantification. You don't have scientific controls. You don't have even a hypothesis that you can test. You don't have a map. You don't even have a map.
The celestial bodies is like we don't know what they are.
Yes, we do. You don't know what they are, but other people do. They figured it out. Just because you don't know what they are doesn't mean that what they did, who spent their actual career working on this, right? I would not come to you as a carpenter and tell you that you don't know how to do carpentry. Because I'm not as good at carpentry as you are. That would be ridiculous if I walked onto your work site and said, you're doing it all wrong. Right? What would you say to me? You say, get the hell out of here. Right?
I'm a nice guy.
I say, you're putting up 2x4s in the walls and be like, that's stupid. You should use this 1x6 that I got at Menards. That's the better way to do walls. Right? Use the 1x6. Why would you not use the 1x6?
I mean, just to me, like that analogy is like it's irrelevant, man.
No, you are telling people that do their jobs and understand their jobs really, really well that they're wrong based on your ignorance. It's no different than somebody coming and telling you that you don't know how to do your job based on ignorance.
Well, whenever I ask a question about like what is gravity, and like the main person says that they don't know, that we only know about 4% of like the universe.
What do you mean the main? There is no the main person.
Well, I mean like the lead people, and
there is no lead people. in science. Scientists haven't.
Well, the loudest people that we hear
haven't, but the scientists haven't voted somebody to be their leader. So I'll tell you, the ones that are the professional science communicators that you might be thinking of, they don't actually do the down in the, the real day-to-day work. They've done that portion of their career, and now they're just primarily science communicators. So the actual people in science, go ask them. Right? But what is gravity? We know gravity. We know that gravity is mass attracting mass. We know that. We know that mass attracts mass. And none of the people that you think will ever disagree with mass attracting mass. That's definitely what gravity is. What's the next underlying thing? We can get more about that. But does mass attract mass? 100% yes, it does.
Right. So when all the public gets is these elementary, explanations from these, what did you call them? Science
communicators. Science communicators have a specific target audience that they're talking to. High school level education. That's it. They're not speaking to somebody that has a master's degree in physics. That's not their target audience. So they're definitely not going to speak as if a master's degree in physics would receive it. They're going to speak to somebody that doesn't have a deep understanding of it. Otherwise, nobody would want to listen to them. It's beyond them. Right?
Yeah, it's just
so you're expecting somebody to do professional science communication with a general audience target in a very specific and detailed way that they could not possibly fathom. Sorry. I get people on here all the time saying, well, if you can't explain it to a kindergartner, then you don't understand it. Which one is it? I need to explain it to a simple level?
But when NASA's like, oh, the Earth, the moon is within Earth's atmosphere. And
they didn't say that. You just repeated your Papa Flurf. You just repeated your YouTube Papa Flurf. NASA never said the moon is in our atmosphere. They never said the moon is in our atmosphere. That was what YouTube Papa Flurfs said. You just repeated it. There are bits of our things that used to be in our atmosphere near the moon. Yes. But the moon is not in our atmosphere. But that very same article did absolutely confirm that the distance to the moon is what NASA says. So are you going to cherry pick that and say, oh, the moon is in our atmosphere?
No,
but I'm going to reject. Well, if you're going to do that, you're going to accept also the distance to the moon.
Okay, well, it says here the moon is inside Earth's atmosphere. European researchers say observations made by the Soho spacecraft over 20 years ago led to a new discovery.
All right, so where did NASA say that? Is that on NASA.com?
I promise you, I saw it on like a NASA headline.
You promised me. All right, here's what you go get the original article.
I'm trying to find it now, bro. I just don't have everything pulled up here. I thought you would at least seen all this. So.
I read the entire peer-reviewed published article, which you did not read. You only read the headline and maybe some of the article.
Well, isn't that misleading?
No. It's simplified for the audience.
That's a problem, man.
Yes, go read the original. Don't read the simplified version.
Okay.
All right. Why, if Gary Wabanga is not being rude, don't time him out. Gary Wabanga shows up. He's got a lot of derp, but he's not mean. So, Andreas Eld. Andreas Eld asks, this time of the year, if you watch it from New Zealand, does the sun rise north or south of due east?
Yeah, right. Okay, a new study has revealed that Earth's atmosphere extends far beyond the moon. And this is all from NASA.
That on NASA.com?
Yeah, it shows that a layer of gases surrounding our planet stretches around 630,000 kilometers.
Okay, so you agree?
About twice the distance to the moon.
So you agree in the distance to the moon? Then from
No,
that
I'm
article?
just saying that this is all.
Oh, so you're going to cherry pick that away. Which is it going to be?
I've never claimed to know the distance to the moon. I'm just saying what
you
guys are saying.
But that particular article is talking about the distance to the moon. So you're going to take that and the talks about the atmosphere, or you're going to take neither. Which one is it going to be?
I mean, this all came from me asking you, was the moon within the Earth's atmosphere?
Yeah, it's not technically within the Earth's atmosphere.
Well, yeah, based on what you want to call it, atmosphere, right?
Which is pretty well defined. Yep.
Which is the Kármán line, which is a certain distance. So I'm just saying, man, it's confusing, bro. You got to come from where I'm standing.
The Kármán line. The Kármán line is not the atmosphere. The Kármán line is the legal definition of space, or the right, and that just came from Mr. Kármán, who said that's at this particular elevation, that's about the limit of the air pressure that you can have air powered flight, airlift flight. So we've got from PhD Tony says, I had 2 papers on satellite gravimetry published in the past 2 weeks. Your guest is simply wrong. Now, you may have noticed that I said his name was PhD Tony. He has a PhD, and he just had 2 papers on satellite gravimetry. So gravity exists and satellites exist. It is what he works on. It is his job. If satellites and gravity didn't exist, he could not do his job. He finds valuable resources, minerals, for companies, and they pay him to find those things. So,
but isn't he just getting data from a satellite that could just be on a balloon?
Well, if it is on a balloon, then it's moving.
I'm just legitimately asking, like,
no, because of how the satellites. I don't know if this is about the 2 satellites that chase each other or not, but a lot of the gravimetric data comes from satellites is these 2 satellites that are in orbit near each other, and they're constantly pinging each other using lasers to see how far apart they are. And as they go over a portion of the Earth that has higher or lower gravity, they accelerate and decelerate, and causing that distance between them to shrink and grow. And they use that to determine the quantity of gravity on the ground. Now, if they were using balloons, none of that would work.
And they always appeals to an authority. I mean, that's
not an appeal to authority. That's his job. If that did not work, he could not do his job. So where's that data coming from if it's not coming from satellites? Where's it coming from? How does it work?
So who owns the satellites to give him the data to do the work?
It doesn't matter because it works. That's the problem with your entire premise. He takes the data.
It works. He set it up in every possible way for it to work.
Let me explain what he does. And there's a lot of money at stake. So he uses that data to say, look, there's a gravity anomaly under this portion of the Earth. Hey, mineral exploration companies, if you go here and spend a large amount of money digging into the Earth here, you will find some very valuable minerals. And then they go there and they find those valuable minerals. Now, if that data was just manufactured, then it would just be guesses. How would they know that a particular portion of the Earth has a larger or smaller gravitational quantity? They could not know that if they just invented it. Right?
I mean, yeah, I'll have to look more into it, but
so yes,
that could be coming from a lot of different, sources, and just all being compiled.
It sounds like a lot of denialism from you, right?
It could be because I haven't looked into it.
So Tony says these are the Grace follow-on satellites. They move at 7 kilometers a second at an altitude of 400 to 500 kilometers. Now, if they did not work right, then the data that he gets from them would be wrong, and he would send people to go dig in the dirt and spend a lot of money and not find it. And they would be quite upset, and he would not have return customers. Right?
I really just don't know enough about it to even speak on it.
Okay, well then don't say, well, it could be this, because it could not be, just based on your ignorance. Go look into it. Look at how the gray satellites actually send their data down and what people do with that information. Milky60 says, Hillside, where on the prism did spectroscopy hurt you?
I mean, from what I know about it, it's all like pseudoscience. It's all presuming stuff. Like,
so you say, but can't point to the specific presumption. Warren Evans for 10 pounds says, here's a simple experiment you can do. Stand under a dome and find a spot where you can't see the middle of the dome. Then explain why you can't see Polaris south of the equator.
Well, like I said, I mean, things converge in the horizon. That's from everything that I've researched and all this, that makes perfect sense to me.
Sorry, let me just be clear.
It relates to reality.
Watching a YouTube video is not research. Stevie B says for 10 pounds.
I've literally can set up your phone, drag stuff across the floor, and it will disappear from the bottom.
Yeah, but
I mean,
but the stars are not
I don't
on the
understand
floor.
what's so hard about it.
You don't claim the stars are on the floor. So get a dome where the stars
objects will do the same.
So you say, but you cannot reproduce.
You can set up
you
a model
literally
in your own home.
That's what he suggested that you do. So set up a dome where Polaris, you can't see it because you get far away. The center of the dome. Set up a dome. The center of the dome you can't see when you get far away. Go ahead. Nobody's ever done that.
You can do anything to that scale.
Go,
I mean,
go right ahead.
Simple...
It'll never happen. It'll never happen. Stevie B says Lake Titicaca. Did he send money to the prince to get his millions payout as he has fallen for all the rest? Did you get that email from the Nigerian prince?
Not yet.
It's on the way. So what's going to happen is he's going to tell you that he found gold or money in a chest under the sand, and he just needs you to pay the release fee to FedEx. Now, the FedEx guy's email address will be some really long thing at gmail.com, not at fedex.com, because that's how FedEx does their work. Well, then, in order to pay him, what you're going to need to do is get iTunes gift cards, because that's the normal way that FedEx does their payments. So you do that, everything will be good, and then the money will come to you. Definitely.
Oh, dumb flat earthers.
I agree. Eddie Reese wonders, he says, this guy has the distinct smell of Poe. Are you a Poe? I don't think Poe. You know what a Poe is? A Poe would be somebody that's faking it, is what they're saying. Oh my goodness. All right, I got a few more. Let me go through these and then we'll get moving. NANA for $6.66 says MC2, and I missed the beginning. Did you start with basic shapes and colors? Tones overthinks it says Hillside, the moon is not luminescent in and of itself. The lunar surface is the light of the sun. It's pretty much as bright as your driveway at noon.
Right, but it's equally lit edge to edge, like when
there's portions of it that are brighter and less bright. But
I mean, from what I can see in Atlanta, it's
our eyes aren't great. Our eyes aren't great.
Okay, I was just saying, like, here you go saying not to trust your eyes and senses.
Absolutely, do not trust your eyes. Your eyes cannot distinguish
I 100%
between the
agree. That's your stance on it.
Yes, so, do not trust your eyes, and
you agree to disagree with that.
You agree to agree because you don't trust your eyes because you use a tape measure. Chronic Avenger says Southern Cross doesn't shrink, and that's an important point. Perspective demands that things get smaller with increasing distance, but the distances between the constellations does not change its size no matter where you are. It's always the same angular size. Why is that? There's a good reason. Ken North for 5 Canadian says, I knew he will deny it, but can you tell him the sun is a star? Hey, Hillside, the sun is a star.
All right, the Earth is a globe. You win.
Got it. Nailed it. Glad you're back. You're welcome back any day. Lael says, Hillside, please tell us the exact distance of how far too far is. Yeah, how far is too far to see it for the stars or the sun?
Well, I mean, that all depends on like the medium you're looking through, right? So like it could vary.
All right, well go ahead
and like the horizon
and give an example using just kind of normal. You can't. All you can do is repeat what you've heard. You can't actually do the modeling. Nobody's ever done. It doesn't work.
Repeating what I've experienced. So, like you watch a train move away from you. Watch anything leave your line of sight.
Exactly,
and it's going to get smaller, and it will converge into a horizon.
Unlike the sun and moon, and the distance between the stars. Weird that. Greg Ware.
Because those are celestials.
Greg Ware says he's trying. He's just not intelligent enough to get it. I agree. I think you're trying, Hillside.
I'm trying.
David says elementary school kids have many more lumens than Hillside. Lumens. That's why the police protect flirts by arresting them every time they approach elementary schools.
What?
Nathan, who you were watching earlier today. Nathan got arrested because he went to an elementary school, started yelling at the kids. Andrew Rouse for $10 Australian says, unrelated, but is it possible to get Nathan Oakley to debate you? I feel that would be a new level of entertainment. It is not possible. He is too scared to face me on a third-party platform. And on his platform, he mutes everybody constantly. He actually has it set up. You can watch some of his streams. When you can see the other people talking because their avatars give an indication that they're talking. When Nathan talks, you can see their avatar like indicating that they're talking, but you hear nothing. Nothing at all. Because he has his thing set up, his audio set up, to automatically mute everybody else when he's talking. So he doesn't even have a mute button. He has an auto mute set up. Chronic Avenger says, mess with the exposure settings. You will see how much of a cloud is visible. Now, that's a good one. You can get, there's a book called Understanding Exposure by Brian Peterson. I've read it twice. It's the nice thing about books by photographers is they have lots of awesome pictures in it. So it doesn't take long to read, but he goes over how to do exposure, and it's fantastic and shows exactly how things get washed out. It's really good. Daryl Jackson, you just said that everyone knows the sun is hot, but the one and only Nathan Thompson just said on Modern Day Debate that the sun isn't hot. The earth is. In the debate that happened right before this one, you were watching that debate. Did you hear Nathan Thompson say that the sun is not hot?
Well, I mean, that's the theory, right? Like the sun isn't really I'm just saying from what I've researched, the theory is that the sun and the moon aren't actual physical objects. They render in our reality, and like you can't really go to them. They're apparent.
Even if that were the case, were the case, it's still hot.
Well, you can't say that because you've never been to it. The closer you get to it, the colder it gets.
No, the closer you get to it, the more heat energy you get from it. But the air temperature is a different temperature. Well, it has nothing to do with it. No, it has nothing to do with it. The amount of energy you get from the sun increases as you get closer. But within our atmosphere, we can't change the distance dramatically enough to get a huge difference. We can get outside our atmosphere, and the difference between ground level
all we can experience.
The difference if
you're on the ground in the desert.
I wasn't done.
Super hot. Okay,
I wasn't done explaining. A huge portion of the energy from the sun is absorbed by the atmosphere, so we could get outside the atmosphere and see that it's significantly hotter. These 500 some people that have been in space can confirm that for you. But even then, it's not. It's not.
Trust them.
I don't care that you don't trust them.
Well, you're asking me to just trust some people who say they've been out.
Do the geometry for the sun setting. You can't. You can do it yourself, but you can't. You don't know how to do the geometry, so you can't test it yourself.
I can figure it out if I study it.
Go ahead.
But I'm just going based off like basic reality.
No, you're going based on not understanding things.
And you go higher up in the altitude towards the sun, it gets colder.
It's just a basic misunderstanding of science. This stuff's covered in middle school.
That's reality. What I just explained. How is that not right? Like you can't agree to that?
No, it's your misunderstanding. Many Karen for 15 shekels says Hillside. You can become a scientist and do this if you just bothered to actually study anything. So
that's what I'm trying to do now. So I have to get both points of view.
Instead of you don't need to get both. You can just get a generic science education.
But you can agree that there's mixed signals coming from the globe side with science communicators saying certain stuff, and then it's not actually true. You need to go a little deeper.
No, I would say that most of the science communication that they say is accurate considering the audience that they're attempting to talk to.
Then that's not confusing?
It can be confusing, but that doesn't make it right or wrong.
I mean, if you're going to communicate things, it should be in the most simplified way, especially to the basic,
hold on. Simplified?
Public, so.
Do you want it the most simplified way, or do you want it to be
and by saying
specifically technically correct? Which way? Because earlier you were complaining that it was too simple.
What was too simple?
That the science communication from the ones that you thought were somehow voted on by the scientists to be the ones in the lead.
You wanted to label it if it was too simplified.
But you were not happy because it was too simple, and now you want it more simple. Which one is it? Science communicators can speak to the audience that they speak to.
The simplest way to, simple, but, descriptive and accurate.
The simplest way leaves out lots of details. So when you read an article about from the SOHO probe that identified particles from the Earth's atmosphere at the moon, they're going to simplify it depending on their audience. But if you actually go to the publication, right, which almost nobody read, if you actually go to the publication and read the publication, you will see that it's very specific, and it doesn't say that the Earth is in the moon's atmosphere. It will be very specific about what they did. They will talk about the isotopes of hydrogen that it got, and the specific wavelengths of light that they got, informing them about the nature of that hydrogen. So how is it possible to see 24-hour sun in Antarctica?
I mean, personally, I've never seen it, so.
But it happens. But I've never seen the Eiffel Tower. Does the Eiffel Tower stop existing? Because I've not been there.
It's not really in contention. So
okay,
I'm just saying. Nobody is allowed to go below 60 degrees south.
Oh, that's a lie. That's an absolute lie. Don't lie.
Okay, well, you can go on I already know what you're gonna say. Is
why did you lie? Why did you lie?
It's in the Antarctic Treaty.
What? Okay, let's bring up the Antarctic Treaty right now. What article was it from the Antarctic Treaty?
Well, I mean, there's numerous stories of people trying to get permits.
No. You said don't change it. You said it's in the Antarctic Treaty. What? I'll bring it up on screen, and we can look at the Antarctic Treaty together right here on screen, and you can tell me which article of the Antarctic Treaty says what you just said it does. So I got it. It's on screen for you. Which article? You said it was in the Antarctic Treaty. So here it is. Is it Article 1 that says Antarctica shall be used for peaceful purposes only? There shall be prohibited inter alia any measure of military nature, such as the establishment of military bases and fortifications. The carrying out of military maneuvers as well as testing of any types of weapons is those are prohibited. Well, that doesn't say you can't go there. The treaty shall not prevent the use of military personnel for scientific research or for any other peaceful purpose. Nope, doesn't say it there. Article 2, freedom of scientific investigation in Antarctica and cooperation toward that end, as applied during the International Geophysical Year, shall continue subject to the provision of the present treaty. Well, that doesn't say what you want it to say. Article 3, in order to promote international cooperation in scientific investigations in Antarctica, as provided for in Article 2, the contracting parties agree that, to the greatest extent feasible and practical, information regarding plans for scientific programs in Antarctica shall be exchanged to permit maximum economy and efficiency of operations. No, that's just saying we'll tell the other countries what we're doing there and not keep any secrets. Well, that doesn't say what you want it to say. Scientific personnel shall be exchanged in Antarctica between expeditions and stations. People get to move around. Scientific observations and results from Antarctica shall be exchanged and made freely available. That means that the information you gather from your science there, you won't hide. You will share it. That's not doing anything for you. Should I jump down to the article that says you can't go there? Which article is it?
Well, I know I've seen many stories and there's videos.
Okay, no. You said the
hold on.
Don't change the rules. You said the Antarctic Treaty prevents you.
Right. And
I have it on screen. You didn't read. Let me guess. You've never read this, have you? You never read this. Well, this is all new.
Because that I've seen the videos of people being turned around by battleships. Like I've taken it for face value. And
then, what you did is you repeated a claim that you heard from your Papa Flurf that they said the Antarctic Treaty prevents people from going there, but you never read the Antarctic Treaty. You never confirmed. But you never confirmed that you never confirmed.
Hold on.
You never confirmed the validity.
There is a verified news article of a guy who was on his way down there and he was turned around and jailed for going there.
And that's a lie too. So, where was he when they picked him up?
Well, it says that he was
near Australia. He was nowhere near Antarctica. Do you know why they picked him up?
Fishermen being turned around.
Do you know why?
Out there in a restricted area.
No. Do you know why? That's just lies. More lies from your Papa Flurf that you did not verify. You specifically said just a little bit ago that this treaty that's on screen right now, this one, that is on the screen right now, said you couldn't go there. And I'm looking at it on screen right now and your story changed. Hillside. You need to do your own research. Don't make claims.
Based on the videos that we've seen,
no,
I didn't think there would
you
be
said
any reason for them
based
to lie
on the
about
treaty.
That. If there's news articles of people literally,
that's a lie. Again, that's a lie.
Okay. It's not a lie.
The guy that was picked up was picked up near Australia. He was on the run from the police. It had nothing to do with going to Antarctica. That's the problem. You believed it. You didn't understand the details of it. You just accepted gullible you completely accepted without critical examination what you were told. That's called indoctrination. Uncritically accepting what you're told.
Okay, but I've seen plenty of documentaries where they're talking about the Antarctic treaty system where it's said literally in the documentary from I don't even know who it was, but it wasn't from a flat earther. There's no independent travel or exploration allowed.
But that's not true at all. That's completely not true. You can go there.
Anybody can just obtain permits and go explore.
Absolutely. Go obtain a permit. Okay. This treaty says the point of the treaty says you can't go do secret. You cannot go do secret things. You cannot do things as one country and hide it from the other countries that are part of the treaty. That's what the treaty says.
Like what?
Like
explore?
What?
You can't explore?
No, you can't do military stuff. You can't. That's Article 1.
So just exploring can be considered military stuff to go make a military base.
No, the present treaty shall not prevent the use of military personnel or equipment for scientific research or for any other peaceful purpose. So exploring is a peaceful purpose. You can explore.
Which can be turned into military operations very quickly based on motive.
You certainly could, should you bring weapons there and start firing them. Or trying to build a military base.
You want to make it work in your favor.
And none of this says you can't go there. None of it says you can't go there. None of it says you can't do what you want there. You know what you would not want to do there? Just go walk around. You die. It's freaking cold. Right. And there's no 7-Eleven on the corner. And there's no cell phone service. And it's cold. Did I mention it's cold? It's really cold.
No, everyone that I've ever heard, everyone's always been in agreement that you're not allowed to independently go there. So I'll definitely look into that.
And they're all, yeah, I would say they're not.
I thought that was all, everyone was in agreement with that.
Ask him for a name of someone that was stopped or went missing.
Yeah, like the guy's name was in the news article and everything. Like I said, I just don't have everything ready to pull up at 2:00 in the morning. So,
all right, let me finish.
Like I said, my biggest thing was like visual, like being able to see long distances, man. Like, only thing we can be told is refraction. So you're wanting like a refraction analysis, which is just laughable.
Which you should do if you're gonna make claims. The fundamental part of a debate. You make a claim and then you support it with evidence. But all right, let's keep going here. Many Karen for 15 shekels says, "Oh, the data from the fake satellites, and then they distort it, but in a way that still works. There's a phone call for you, Mr. Occam." Occam's razor. JT Davis 62 for $2 says, "Hey Hillside, what's your sign?" Ooh, you got a fan. What's your sign?
Oh, Pisces, man.
Pisces. I don't know. What's the one for February? That's mine. Sun Express for $5 says, "Hillside, why is the Earth not allowed to be a sphere? People all around El Lago Maggiore Titicaca understand the spherical shape of Earth after all."
I don't know. I just can't. Ever since I looked into this, I can't envision myself spinning 1,000 miles on a ball.
You're not spinning 1,000 miles an hour. That's more
the equator you are.
No.
And then like whenever we see video of the Earth spinning in space, the live videos, it's all spinning at the same rate. It should be spinning slower at the top compared to the equator. And I don't never witness that. So it just looks fake.
Oh my gosh, you don't even.
What?
Things don't spin in miles per hour. They spin in revolutions per second. So think about this. When you start your car and it's sitting in the driveway, just idling, how fast is your car idling in miles per hour?
No,
that doesn't make sense, does it?
Once it's in motion, that's how we measure speed, right? Miles per hour.
Yeah, but rotation is not measured in miles per hour. Rotation is measured in angular change over time. So your car engine, your tachometer gives you RPM, revolutions per minute. The
RPM.
But
if I spin a ball on my desk, it's going to spin faster, right, on the sides of it than it is at the top.
Just
I got to dumb it down.
Just
man.
like
that's
all,
just what I see.
All video of the Earth is the same. All right. Lord Illuminous Pooh says both Kylo Ren and Prince Zuko turned to evil because Mark Hamill was mean to them. Mark's my Joker. Can't have Mark Hamill without Arkham. He mixed a few references there. Well done.
Went right over my head, bro.
LB Stuff Things and More says, Hillside, buy a $40 telescope and do an experiment.
So don't buy the P900 or P1000?
No, get an actual telescope. Maybe not a $40 one, but for less money than a P900, you can get a telescope. You can look at the moon. You can look at the details.
And they're not going to look like bright lights in the sky?
No.
Telescope?
No, the moon properly exposed will look, you can see the details of it. Humphrey Pushcart says, with every well it could be, or in my experience, Mr. Hill demonstrates profound ignorance masquerading as a personal incredulity.
Oh, come on, man. I'm just trying to find the truth, man.
But you don't find the truth through personal incredulity. Go figure it out. Actually do the work.
Like I have to
I know, and that's what I'm trying to do, but I got to get both viewpoints, right?
No.
Because what I get
Go
from these
get the
science
education
communicators-
first. Get the education first. Go
No, I know, but I
learn
gotta know
how to
what
do
look
math.
I got to know what to look into, so I'm just trying to get both viewpoints and
Get a telescope
everything
and
that I've
measure
seen so
the
far that makes
angular
most
size,
sense
the
from
angular
flat
size
Earth.
of the moon, and see whether or not the angular size of the moon ever changes. Warren Evans says,
Assuming that it's physical.
Preet Chandi, a young woman from England, just completed a solo expedition in 40 days. Yet no one can go there. Yes, Preet Chandi just went across Antarctica all on her lonesome for 40 days. That sounds like torture to me, but to her, it sounds like fun. So somehow she was able to go. The Sun Express says, Hillside, if you are an American citizen, you can apply for a job on Antarctica. Plenty of options available. They do need carpenters.
It's too cold. I'm good.
So you can go there, though. You can actually get a job and go work there.
I'll look into that. Okay, like I said, everything that I've heard.
There's a guy. His last name I don't know, but it's Joe on TikTok, and his TikTok account is Spin the Globe. Joe spins the globe, I think, and he just finished overwintering in Antarctica a little bit ago.
Yeah, I used to follow him on TikTok.
There you go. He was at the Antarctica, the station.
He's in the Arctic, though.
No,
I don't know, that's my opinion. I think he's really in the Arctic.
For what?
Is that bad? Like, come on, man.
It's based on wishes.
I mean, just based off everything that I see in reality, man.
No, it's just based on a wish.
Shut that out.
It's just based on a wish and a dream.
Why would I be wishing for this? Like, I saw it and I can't unsee it. So,
all right, DJ Moose for €5 says, so Hillside, take with 5 of your friends from different countries, sun heights, and using sticks and shadows, and after that, plot height over flat Earth. You could do what I did on any day of the year, but the solstices and equinoxes are easier. Measure the angle to the sun.
Okay, but with like sticks and shadows is what you're saying?
That, or you can use your phone and measure the angle to the sun.
What type of equation would you have to
well, you would need to get that education that you skipped. It's covered.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
All right, Hillside. I homeschool our kids. I'm the math and science teacher. I know when they cover the necessary geometry to figure it out. It's 8th grade. 8th grade.
I understand a little bit about
Hillside.
It, and the geometry requires you to know R
grade
in order to use sticks and shadows.
8th grade is when the math is covered.
And you have to know R.
No.
In order to use sticks and shadows.
Listen. Take 5 of your friends, sun heights using sticks and shadows, and plot height over flat Earth. Where do you need R for that? You don't need the radius of the Earth for that. That's a test. That's an experiment to test whether or not the Earth can be flat.
Okay.
It's not a test about the globe.
Okay.
You presume that the Earth is flat. Your hypothesis. In your hypothesis, you presume things. That's how science works. You presume. We're going to presume that the Earth is flat. We're going to hypothesize that the Earth is flat, and then we're going to go do some things based on that. What's that?
Okay, I want to do this. You said get 5 friends and then do what?
Measure the sun height. That would be the angular sun height, using sticks and shadows.
Using sticks and like you did in that video.
Yeah, and the equinoxes and the solstices are good days to do it. So March 21 or 22 would be the next equinox. And wherever you are at the local solar noon, which is when the shadow is the shortest, you measure the angle. And then, assuming the Earth is flat, calculate the elevation of the sun for each location and plot it out.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that would just be assuming that you're trying to locate a physical object.
Yes.
You can't do that.
A light source. Yeah, it is a perfectly rational assumption to assume that a light source is a light source and has a single point of origination, just like everything else.
Sorry, just by the way it behaves in the sky, I don't think we can do that. So just based off of what I see.
But why?
The nature.
Why? But what plausible mechanism do you have to explain why that would not work?
Just the fact that I can look through my eyeballs and see it shrinking to a dot, but you can put it in a solar filter and it not change at all. That right there tells me that something's going on. It's not physical.
No,
now, you may
not
take
at all.
something else different away from that. Okay, well,
right.
I don't.
Wrote it no last name. Wrote it no last name says I should think for myself. That's what my Papa Flurf told me to say.
Papa Flurf.
Hey, who's your Papa Flurf? Don't tell us yet. Hold on. Don't tell us.
I know the plain truth, dude. He calls himself Papa Flurf.
Travis does?
I think so. Yeah, I see it on the YouTube.
Papa calls Flurf. Himself Papa Flurf. I made that up. The Sun Express says, Hillside, what happens to satellites in polar orbit? Where do they go?
Polar orbit?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't necessarily believe in satellites. I don't believe in anything like the government tells us about this place.
You don't.
I don't believe them when they tell us like satellites are made up of these materials, but they can survive in this type of.
You don't need a government for that environment. You don't need the government for that.
Like if they tell us the temperatures of like space and stuff like that, and then they tell us the materials they're sending out there, and everything's hunky dory. Well, that's just.
But Hillside, you don't know the difference between heat and energy.
I mean, to me, it's common sense. I mean, I've worked with the same materials before.
No, it's not common sense. It's anti-common sense. It's you don't understand that there aren't enough particles out there to heat something up. In fact, things get cold.
Well, we would have to presume the nature of space, and that's what it all comes back to. You're telling me space is this other magical thing, and I'm just not.
It's not magical.
So that's why
It's not magical at all. It's normal.
Like that's what it comes down to. You're saying like I'm stupid because I don't believe it, which it's fine. You can say that.
No, you've got it in the other. The direction's wrong. It's the opposite.
Oh.
All right. Well, you know what? Corey Cal never responded to the email.
Yeah, I mean that's disappointing, man. Because I mean,
I'm gonna poke him again. I've been busy.
He could just be pulling a leg or something, bro. But like from everything that I researched, hearing him talk and everything, it sat pretty well with me. So I don't know. I'd love to hear you two, bash it out and stuff like that. But it just seems like everything that comes from the globe is just all, presuming the nature of the world to be a sphere and like just begging the question.
And how much of flat Earth is presuming? 100%. Because you have no measure.
I'm buying it is because I can walk outside and like what I'm,
you're just but you're just presuming. You're just presuming. You're just presuming. That's just presumptions. That's just presumptions.
No, it's not. It's reality. It's what I'm experiencing.
No, it's just presumptions.
It's experiences.
So
how is it presumptions?
Devil's
you have to explain that if you're going to say that.
Yeah, you're just presuming things. That's what you did. All of the globe stuff. You're just like nuh-uh and presuming, and then you go with
because you're
absolutely nothing.
You're asking me to just believe.
No, I'm not asking you to believe.
A place that I can't
not
believe.
at all. Not at all.
The sun is a physical object.
I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm asking you to look at. I'm asking you to look at the evidence and evaluate the evidence. But you don't even look at the evidence. You looked at flat Earth videos. That's not evidence.
What
look at the actual evidence.
An article that some superiority figure wrote.
No, an experiment that somebody who's just a guy working did. That's the evidence. The guy in the 60s that said, I want to bounce radar off the sun. And bounced radar off the sun and then wrote about it.
Again, that is all guy. Presuming the
What's
nature
presuming?
Of the sky.
No, What specific
something
is
off of it in the sky? So,
but if you send radar and it comes back, what was the presumption?
like you don't know what it's bouncing off of. You're just shooting it up at the sky.
Yes, but if you point it at the thing that sends us light, then you know that you're pointing it at the thing that sends us light. And when you
right, and you're saying just because of that, it has to be a physical object.
Yes, radar bounces off of physical objects. Do you know something about radar that I don't know?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, there could be another physical thing in the sky that you don't see.
And so there could be other. Every time you say there could be other, what you should do is say, okay, is there an experiment? Hold on, I wasn't done. You should then go see if there's an experiment that confirms your there should be other. Right? All right. But it's late for you. It's later for you than it is for me. I should let you go.
Yeah, it's over with, man. We can see too far, man. I'm sorry, like refraction doesn't do it for me. So
let me be clear. When you say I see too far, you are making a quantified claim. You should support that with the analysis and the evidence. So try that for next time. Try that for next time.
I'm just saying, when the globe says that they have an R value and it's already been determined and 8 inches per mile squared. I know you don't like that formula, but it's good for 1,000 miles.
It's a lie. Good for 1,000 miles. No, it's not. It's good for 0 miles. The reason I take umbrage with other people, especially, and I've gone after, I've specifically spoken to FDFE about this. The reason why 8 inches per mile squared is wrong is not because it's a parabola. It's because it does not take into account the observer's height.
But you've said that in your past debates.
Yes. Your inability to understand, it has nothing to do with being a parabola.
After 1,000 miles, but
it has
no matter how you work it within 1,000 miles of that circumference.
How do you take into account the observer's height in that formula? Where do you put the observer's height in that formula? Where?
The observer's height. There's plenty of calculators that do it for you. I mean, the globe calculator that I have on my phone,
okay, that's not using 8 inches per mile squared. You're the one talking about 8 inches per mile squared. You don't switch to using not 8 inches per mile squared. Stick with 8 inches per mile squared. Where in 8 inches per mile squared do you put the observer's height?
Right here. Hold on.
There is no
Earth curve calculator. I mean,
which is not you. It's not using 8 inches per mile squared in the Earth curve calculator. So stop using the Earth curve calculator if you're trying to talk about 8 inches per mile squared.
But this is where we go back to like basic public knowledge and like you look up Earth curve calculator.
Okay,
and this is
but
what
why do you keep talking about the Earth curve calculator? The Earth curve calculator is not using 8 inches per mile squared. Why do you keep using 8 inches per mile squared and then talking about the Earth curve calculator? Which is it going to be? Is it going to be 8 inches per mile squared or Earth curve calculator? Which one? Take your pick, and then we'll talk about it quick.
Well, the one that I have here, 8 inches per mile squared on my phone.
The Earth curve calculator on your phone is not using 8 inches per mile squared.
It comes out to the same math as 8 inches per mile squared.
No, it doesn't.
Oh my gosh, dude. You deny this every time.
Because it's simple to do. Test it. It doesn't work. Put an observer height of 50 feet and test for 5 miles using 8 inches per mile squared and test for 5 miles on the Earth curve calculator. You will get a different answer every time. You didn't test it. Now, I know that you didn't test it because I know that you can't do the math.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of having the calculator, but you're saying that this doesn't have 8 inches per mile squared, but
it's not using 8 inches per mile squared.
What else would you use for that circumference?
It's a different formula. Geometry. It's a totally different formula that includes the observer's height. You must include the observer's height. That's all. So I can show you the formula. Walter Bislin has it, and he even derives it.
Without presuming the refraction, which begs the question of the radius?
No. When you're calculating how much you should see on the globe, you must use the radius. Do you not understand that? This is basic.
Isn't that
when you're asking, I'll say it again because this is so incredibly basic and you really struggle with this really super basic thing. When testing whether or not something is too far on the globe, you have to use the globe to predict that. Right? So you can't say, oh, you're presuming the globe and therefore it's wrong. No, therefore it's right because I'm presuming the globe when testing the globe to see if it's too far away on the globe. Right? It's all about the globe. So I will test the globe using the globe geometry and the real conditions that the globe has when testing the globe.
So at 10 miles, how much physical drop should there be tangent to your feet?
How much physical drop at 10 miles? What is the observer's height?
I mean, I'm 5'8", so we just say 6 feet. Standing at the edge of the water, right?
And so you want physical drop, but you don't see physical drop. You see things obstructed bottom up with distance. So which is it that you want to test?
Well, we want to test the geometric model.
You want to test. So you want to test. You can only test what you see. You cannot test what you don't see. This is where we get back to where
it's there. You just can't see it, right?
No, it absolutely can happen. So here is the Advanced Earth Curve Calculator. It has the formula in it. I'll show you the actual formula. There it is right there. Number 4 is the one that you're generally going to use. You see that?
Mm-hmm. That's
the formula. That's not 8 inches per mile squared.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at with that.
You don't need to.
All I know is I see the radius, the 7/6R, and I know that.
There's no 7/6R in this.
R?
There's no 7/6R. There is R because you must include R when testing for the globe. You can't test for the globe without the radius. Do you understand that?
You're just pretty much wrapping the physical observation around your model.
You cannot say you're seeing too far for the globe without using the globe to test if you're seeing too far.
I know, but with the refraction that you're putting in here,
okay,
you're begging the question that
begging what question?
Is the contingents that the Earth is a sphere?
No. You're testing.
I'm telling you that I can see the horizon past 10 miles.
You're testing if the Earth is a sphere. Hillside. You're testing. It's not begging the question to do science. Science starts with a hypothesis. The hypothesis is that the Earth is a globe with a certain radius.
And if then you test it past 3 miles at the edge of calm water,
then what? Then you need to actually test the globe. No,
the radius can't be correct.
But only if there is no such thing as refraction, which is not the globe. The globe includes refraction.
You're going to continue to beg the question of the spherical nature of the Earth.
It's the hypothesis.
It doesn't matter. It's not.
You don't know how to do. All right. You just don't understand anything about math. Stop listening to Nathan Oakley. He's an asshole idiot.
I don't even know who Nathan Oakley is.
If you've said Black Swan, Black Swan came from Oakley. Where did you hear Black Swan?
On your page when you debated Austin. Austin Whitsitt gets it. So.
But you had that video of Black Swan. Where did you get that?
I came across your page when all this really started happening.
Where did you get Black Swan video from?
I mean, I've seen it around on multiple pages.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It came from Oakley. YouTube, so. That's where it came from. He's the source of it. All of this presumed crap is it because it's not science. In science, you start with a hypothesis. I played the audio from from Feynman. You guess. It's fine to guess. Guess that the Earth is a globe with a certain radius and guess that refraction acts a certain way. That's perfectly fine. Then you test whether or not it's correct. If you find that it's correct, hey, then your guess seems to be pretty good. Then you test again with something different and you're like, oh, that didn't work. Well, that guess was wrong. That's science. You just repeat until you've whittled away all of the different possibilities.
So if I say that the Earth is a sphere with a certain radius, and
as your hypothesis, correct, yes,
then I should have a geometric horizon this far out.
But you don't see,
whether you can see it or not.
You never
right?
see. But how do you tell?
So then how? Whether you can see it or not.
Yep.
It still has to be there.
Absolutely. So here's the part. Then you need to test it. So how are you going to test a geometric horizon?
Observations.
No, observation is optical.
To the observations.
Observations are optical. How are you going to test a geometric horizon?
If you're standing at an island and then you know that a oil rig is this far out, you can, that's already been measured, or you can measure it yourself, and then the horizon is beyond it.
Okay. But that's what you see. That's optical. That's not geometric. How? No, not at all. You did not test. You did not yet test. You have to test. So when you're going to do the geometric horizon, you have to geometrically test it, not optically test it. How are you going to geometrically test the horizon? You would have to build a structure, a physical structure from your eye to the horizon, something that goes many miles and does not curve. How are you going to do that?
Okay, but if you see the horizon go beyond...
No, don't talk about seeing. I'm sorry. You said geometric, not optical.
Don't trust my eyes, man. I got you, bro.
You said geometric. No, this is... You changed the subject. You said geometric.
I didn't change the subject.
How are you going to test the geometric horizon with that? You can't test it optically. How are you going to test the geometric horizon?
That's the question for the Globers. Okay, because we don't see what you guys are saying is happening.
I don't claim anything about the geometric horizon. That's flat earthers. They make that claim. I claim we can only see the optical horizon.
I
claim we can only see the optical horizon, not
absolutely. Welcome to flat Earth,
the geometric. No, not at all. Because the flat Earth has no explanation.
Or you're telling me something's there that we can't see, Mike? Like,
what are you talking about? I'm not saying that something's there that we can't see. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're saying I have a formula over here that can show you how it's being pushed back. Like, that doesn't work. If you're telling me that
if it doesn't work,
then
show the actual analysis of it. All you've done is make claims. And all flat earthers make claims and never do the analysis. No, see too far is a quantifiable claim.
And then you're saying here, plug in your viewer height distance with my
you cannot claim see too far without you cannot say see too far without doing the analysis. So do the analysis properly based on what the globe actually is. Anything else is a straw man and is not worth considering. You need to actually analyze the globe using the globe's claims, the globe hypothesis. So the globe hypothesis includes refraction, not no refraction. So you can't do an analysis.
It's the right amount of refraction to substantiate your claims. So I get it. Like, I'm sorry, I can't accept that.
And that's how you do a hypothesis. That's a hypothesis. The Earth is a globe with this radius.
Can do the same thing for flat Earth.
Absolutely.
And just type it all up, give you an equation.
Yet nobody has. Nobody has done that. No,
it's ridiculous.
No flat earther has ever done. You've said it's possible just now, but no flat earther has. Why? Because it's impossible. Because you cannot go and put together a mathematical hypothesis for the flat Earth that matches that then predicts observations. It doesn't work. It just never does. Nobody has ever tried.
We can see
people have tried. So you've said, but never supported with claims, with evidence.
I mean, all we have to go off of is the radius value and the circumference, right? Which has already been predetermined in your model.
It wasn't predetermined. It was measured.
All that a simple man can do.
It was measured. You can measure the radius of the Earth yourself. I measured it 4 times myself. Got the same answer every time.
What, with your spherical excesses?
No.
With what?
With the sun angle measurement that I showed you earlier, the sticks and shadows. 4 times I did it. 4 times I did it.
Nature of the Earth.
Yes, exactly. That's the hypothesis.
That's a problem.
No, it's not. That's science. I did 2 experiments. I did 2 experiments. I hypothesized that the Earth was flat. And based on that hypothesis, I measured the elevation of the sun and several other people on the same day.
But why can't you do any of these and just say, look, without my guessing or hoping and wishing that it's a sphere, just come up with a sphere?
I just told you that I hypothesized that the Earth was flat and it never worked. That's the problem. Every single test of flat Earth fails. And then you hypothesize that the Earth is a sphere and that the sun is very far away. And then let's see if anything matches. Oh, look, it matches. The hypothesis is confirmed. That's basic science. Hypothesis, calculate the what it means, test. And if the test matches observations, the hypothesis is still a possibility. And if it doesn't, the hypothesis is thrown away. You start over. All right. Warren Evans wonders, on a sunny day when you put sunglasses on, did someone turn down the brightness? Trust your eyes. Humphrey Pushcart says Hill is fond of saying reality when he means he doesn't understand. Golly, Cletus, you're not smarter than a 6th grader. Don't have a fan there. Humphrey Pushcart is not a fan. All right, I'm gonna stop this. All right, people, I'm gonna do this for real. Lord Illuminous Pooh says, did I ever tell you the one about the gaslighter? Yes, I did. I literally just did. You're crazy. Listen, I literally went out to dinner. You're still on topic 1. We came back to it. Hillside, you've been a good sport. Lord Illuminous Pooh for the last one says he doesn't understand an if-then statement. I write software. I do if-then statements all day. All right, well, thank you, Hillside. It was...
Yeah, it's been real
crazy.
It's late.
Go learn math. Start with that. Do some trigonometry.
I got a lot to do, man, to be honest with you. Like maybe
start
I have
start with step 1.
Man, it's hard not to trust your eyes, man. It's hard not to trust reality, so.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. We'll see you all Saturday, hopefully, for a debate on SC Toon Show. We're trying to line that up. We'll see you then. Bye.